Dana.
Yeah. What do you got?
Well, we have Iliza Shlesinger today, who is a comedian. I actually see a lot down at the old clubs and colleges I play.
I have, yeah. She goes to the Comedy Store. She works, man.
She grinds it out like Nikki. They're all these. I'm not going to say these women.
Gals,
it's just really these comics just grind it out, and she's good. I think I always see her kill. I follow her a lot. She comes in because she does like 3 a night, and because she's got a special coming out. You know this, the Amazon Prime special.
Oh, the one called Different Animal?
That's right. March 11th, I think.
Amazon Prime.
And that's going to be a good one because I've seen some of the stuff she's doing on it. She talks, she talks, she's got so much great stuff and she's had so many specials. She's been out there, books, specials, podcasts. She does it all and it's all working.
And we get to talk to her just about her process. And I love that word, her process. But she's someone who went to her first open mic and then was a headliner in clubs within 3 years, which is not easy to do.
Very hard.
Took me a lot longer than that. It took me 3 years to learn how to hold the mic.
3 years, I had about, 14 minutes. I mean, honestly, you think you have an hour, you don't.
No. So she had a killer hour and 36 months of stand-up. She has a cool name. We talk about how people just, like I was always, instead of Dana Carvey, it was Dana Garney. Horrible introductions early on in your career. Yours was...
Oh, I gave her a bad introduction too. I didn't even mess up the Shlesinger part.
There's a controversy about...
There was a big controversy.
There was a big thing that happened between Iliza and David, and we talk about that, and we talk about what she wears on stage, her marriage. It's a fun episode. I really enjoyed talking with Iliza.
Without further ado, here she is. He was like a John Belushi thing. Yeah, you got it going.
Oh, man, he hated women. Oh, no.
John Belushi hated women. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like famous for quoting.
It's a good start.
I like pizza, I like movies, and I hate women.
He's famous. He's famous for saying women aren't funny, and I only think about that because journalists always bring it up, and I'm like, he's dead, so I guess I win.
Oh, quotes follow forever. Have you ever been like, you read something and Iliza said this, and it's completely made up? Obviously, you have.
Or just like a half quote, and you're like, I'm sorry that I said that like half awake on a podcast in 2010.
Yeah.
Like, do I still need to remember my firm stance on dogs versus cats? On a sandwich being a pita.
Going out on a limb. Literally.
Yeah. Dude, pita had a good run. I mean, that pita bread, that was a good bit for...
Well, like stoner podcast people have to be like, oh no, is a tender McNugget, is a pita a sandwich? And you're like, the world's on fire.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's literally on fire.
Literally.
I was going to say it was too soon, but when I said last night to someone, well, this is rude. We'll take it out. But I said, oh, where do you live? And they said, Encino. And I said, oh, did you have any problems with what happened in the Palisades? They said, no. And I said, oh, even the fire doesn't want to go to the valley? And they just stared at me and I go, no, but actually, so it was horrible. So everything okay? I had to skim over it. You know what I mean?
I'm going to defend Encino right here. The first house I ever bought was Encino. And I would go over the Mulholland Hill into the hella Hollywood party. Who loves you? Go back to the country. I'm going on record defending.
I like Encino.
Do you?
The first TV show I ever shot, we shot it in Encino in like a mansion. It was like a reality show. Mm-hmm. And I had no real reference for it. But as I get older, you're like, oh, that's where all the money in the valley goes. Like if you want to live like a millionaire in Kansas City, buy your house in Encino and you can live like a person.
South
is
of the
Encino
Boulevard.
the nice version? Is it like closer to the mountain? Is better that way?
But it's on the flats, but you want to be south of Ventura. You don't want to be in the crime-ridden areas, although they have their advantages and fun too.
Was this show called The Bachelor?
No, it was called... You would only know this if you had trouble sleeping and or a coke addiction because it aired so late.
Well, what was the subject of it? Let us see if we can guess the title. What was the idea of the show?
It was called Excused, and it was like a dating show. And I was the host.
Oh, it is
and
a
people
dating
would
show.
date. Oh yeah, we did 230 episodes.
Holy
So
shit.
I have eaten. The bigger issue is that no one knows the show, but I have eaten at every single restaurant in Encino.
Oh, because
and Reseda.
you're out there. I love it.
Reseda and Encino. If there was a lunch special, if there was a sushi bar, I ate there.
Who does what network was that on? How did I miss a 230 episode? It's like Seinfeld.
It's like it's like Friends minus the money. It was syndicated. It was CBS Studios. So it was picked up in all these crazy markets. So every once in a while, I'll get some like dude in skinny jeans that's like, I used to watch you when I was getting ready for my shift.
Skinny jeans. I used to watch you.
Yeah.
Before I go to Fuddruckers, we
Did you like it? It wasn't really for
That's
me.
right.
You ever get a backhanded compliment? I heard you're pretty funny, but it's not for me, man. I saw some of your stuff.
I stopped watching when you got married. I stopped watching.
Oh, do they say that?
It's you can take the good with the bad. You get all kinds of weird compliments that I'm like, look, you would still love to have sex with me. We both know it, but thank you so much for buying this ticket and enjoy the improv. Enjoy the show.
I want to walk around with that attitude.
Yeah, I do too.
You want to have sex with me? We both know it.
We both want it. You could.
We both want it, but I am married, and so it's tough. But yeah.
But
do women comedians who are photogenic, let's put it this way, attract the creep element more than the stud dudes, the men?
I guess I can't comment on more than but I think it's not even about being attractive. I think you just, as a woman, you just like leave the house. You're like, here I am. And then the universe is like, well, here's the list of weirdos that are going to make it tough for you.
Yeah.
No matter what you look like. So I don't even know if being attractive matters.
Guys are just like, hey, let's do this. They'll figure it out later if you're attractive. They just need to get something going.
I mean, I've definitely talked to male comics, big male comics, lesser known ones that have, I think stalkers come in. I think mental illness knows no gender. And
yes,
that's your next special.
A good hooky title.
Yeah, because it includes everyone.
Ali Wong always slams when she gets on stage. She goes, like Pauly Shore brings her up. She goes, Pauly, there's so many girls that would fuck. This guy's the grossest guy out there. All male comics are gross, and all these girls will fuck them. It's so rude. We're all in the back going, now, here.
I am now here. Let this meeting come to order.
Now, see here.
Oh, I thought you meant here. Like I. Like I agree with that. Like
no, I do like it.
I'll say here. Yeah.
I say. I think most male comics would proclaim themselves degenerate scumbags, and I think they wear it proudly. And you become a comic because you're like, look,
of course,
we can all agree I'm physically repulsive, right? But if you can make a woman laugh, it's disproportionate.
We've all heard that rumor, yeah. And I always say, comedy's like music. Where, what kind of comedy are you doing? Are you like? It's like saying I like music. It's too general. So, you can make a girl laugh that's on their wavelength. Like, what kind do you like? Dry humor? Do you like goofy? Do you like so? Sometimes you do sync up with someone because of that. Of course. If that's your only, listen, I wasn't famous in high school. There's nothing going on. It's just all trying to be funny. That's all.
And you're on a platform. Go ahead, Iliza.
Well, I was going to say what's weird, just for a moment, if I could.
I want to hear this.
Pull back the curtain. Well, you said you weren't famous in high school, but I watched you guys in high school, and that's what's crazy for me.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And just shoot me, chopping broccoli, the church lady. I know all of your resumes, and David, some parts of the year you and I share a similar haircut, but and we were on many lineups together. And Dana, I've never met you, but it is very weird to finally talk to people. And I felt this way when I met you, David, where you're like, oh my God, like you were my reference for so many funny things, for all the sketches I wrote in high school. And
that's nice, right?
David, I probably never got to talk to you about this because we always see each other in passing, but I don't think there was one of the most impactful sketches was like the Gap Girl sketch. And Dana, my mom bought me Wayne's World on VHS as a surprise for a sleepover. I memorized the whole movie. Like, you guys are massive bricks in like a comedy fortress that I've like built in my mind. And so this is,
I like that.
This is crazy.
Yeah. I totally get that. You know, the things that I saw, like if I had met John Cleese at a certain age, I still, oh, good. I want to Wikipedia. But I get it. If you're in your formative years, I say 6 to 12 or 13, 14, that time frame. Shows you watch, comedians you see. So we get it. But of course, you know now that we're just people who went to a club on a bet and then ended up on television. We get it. Can you kind of emotionally or mentally touch your fame and how much accolades and money you're making doing this? Or is it still a little bit surreal? You're pretty young.
I don't know. It's grounding and surreal at the same time. Like sometimes you look around, you're like, oh my God, like every stitch of everything in this really nice house is because I thought to make a joke about something. And then I look at all the things I don't have, and I'm like, and you could be making more jokes and have nicer things if you got out of bed quicker.
I think we all are the weird. You always look to someone that's sort of well known and that you grew up with, and you forget that they're sitting there going, I could do more. I could do better. That's all you're thinking all the time is like, work on my act, work on this, try to get this going.
Where are you at on the disciplines? Because we've met different people on this podcast who really do workshop, like Nikki Glazer, Jim Gaffigan. It's an amazing thing. How effortless was, or how hard was it for you to get a position on Stand Up Mountain? Did it come quickly, or was it a grind? Or I don't know It
came relatively quickly. I think I got my position relatively quickly because I became like a solid touring headliner in 2008.
And when did you start?
Jesus.
I started when I was 21.
But
so I was
2000
doing it.
What?
Well,
2000.
I graduated college. I started when I was I graduated college in like 2004, 2005. And so I did it for about 3 years.
Okay.
Became a touring professional.
Wow.
After
that's fantastic.
And this was, it was when it was. And so I was able to sort of become a headliner and bypass a lot of sexual harassment very early on.
Shocking.
But I don't know. David could tell you. I mean, he sees me out. I'm out when I'm not on tour. I'm out almost every night of the week.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're jumping club to club, right?
Yeah, and it's something that you think would like kind of like lighten up over time, but I'm about to turn 42, and if I'm not on the road, I'll knock back like 2 or 3 sets a night just for the love of it,
And
just
do you
always
record?
Out there.
Do you record always, or do you just go and do it?
Do you remember it? It's hard to remember for me.
I tend to, if I do record, I have trouble listening back. So I tend to.
Too. I can't listen back.
I'm like, who wants to hear this? This is awful. I tend to listen back if it's a brand new joke. Like my new special is out on Amazon March 11th. And so I've already started.
Different animal.
A different animal.
Amazon Prime.
Not regular.
You can get your... while you're watching me, you can shop for air filters, toilet paper, Chinese socks.
This is kind of this is inside baseball. I love that phrase. But sometimes when you're trying to bit, your setup just happens to be perfect. Maybe sometimes because it's a new bit, and then if you don't record it or you don't remember, you're like, "Oh fuck, it's not working as well." What was that setup that made me enter the joke perfectly? It's frustrating.
It's frustrating. What I have done, and I've done this, I don't rely on this, but I have a pretty close relationship. Like if you follow me, you're a pretty decent fan. I will put on my own Instagram stories. Hey, if you were at the 8:00 at the theater tonight, what was that thing I said about pigeons?
Funny.
Wow.
And people, or I'll say it on stage, I'll be like, could somebody text that to me? And someone always remembers it.
That's smart.
Wow.
That's
I crowdsourced my own memories.
And phrasing, I'll tell you, Liza, I'm the same way. First of all, we were on the same show probably 3 nights ago. But I have to say, when I do it, I don't know I like to do new bits. I record them, but it's almost worse to listen to them.
It's awful.
Because it's so sickening that I have to make myself go, I recorded, I did it the right way. I just have to hear it or write it down so I memorize like just the phrasing because it worked. And then it's so lazy, but it's something sickening about it repels me to, And I have to, like, I do another show and I wait all day and then I go, I got to just hear it and go, that is how to do it. Okay. But it's so hard to make yourself do that.
It's hard to, I mean, I recently, you know, I got all the promo cuts for my Amazon special.
I
have to watch myself back and I have to take like a deep cleansing breath.
Gross. Yeah.
And it's weird. It's like, so this is something I wish on other people, but I can't watch myself. Like there's something very, very removed about all of it. Like you have the ego to get up there, but actually digesting yourself for yourself is a weird existential kind of torture.
And how long did you do your special, tape it? And then so you taped it and you said you're already working on, do you want a full new hour or do you want mostly new before you go out or what do you want?
Yeah. I mean, the timeline to the average civilian, the timeline seems different than it is because, and you guys know this, by the time people see your hour, you've already been on the road and working because it's like a 4-month time period between when you record it and when it's actually released.
Airing,
but even prior to recording it, you had jokes that didn't make it or jokes you were taking out that you still want to work on. So you're just constantly. The other night, I actually got up, and I seldom do this, with just a list of jokes that I've written down that I haven't gotten to, and I just read them, and then we'll just start with those little. Just see
what pops out. You're right, and sometimes it's a bit of a trick.
Could you give us one of these jokes?
Yeah, give us one.
Sure. Okay.
Sure.
I want to explore the absolute rage that I feel. I have to preface it by saying my husband is awesome. We have a lovely relationship. He wakes up at like 5 a.m. He gets our daughter ready. He makes all of us breakfast. He does everything. He's elegant. He supports women. Like he's the best. The absolute abject rage I feel toward him when he takes a nap. Like he needs it so he won't collapse.
So he'll live.
There's just something too gentle. I'm like, why don't you take your nap, you little gentle toddler? Why don't you take that little baby nap and rest your eyes? Like he's been up for 18 hours. Like he has to take a nap so he doesn't collapse.
I didn't see this napping on your resume. I don't think we would have had a first date if I knew you napped all day. And he's like, I get 5 minutes a day. Just relax.
Yeah, it's a 1 hour nap. And I'm like, but what if I need to talk to you? Like so it's less that. It's more about making fun of the unjustified anger. It's never an actual anger toward him.
That is funny that you're just enraged. You're not kind of bothered or a little bugged. You're just furious is funny.
Someone will be like, hey, can you ask Noah a question? I'll be like, don't know because he's in the land of Nod. So I guess we'll just put our lives on hold while he naps. Meanwhile, it's 1 hour. Everything's fine.
Is he on a couch publicly or is he in a bedroom with the door closed?
No, he retreats to the bedroom and no one can go in there.
Oh, by the way, that walk of shame he's trying to, I'm getting mad too.
I'm getting fucking pissed at this guy.
If I was at your house talking to you guys and he was quietly going in the other room, like, where are you going?
Where are you going?
What you probably say.
Where are you creeping off to? I need
nap
you to.
time?
Yeah. I got to talk to you about a conversation I had with a female friend. Can you get back here?
A female friend.
Here's what you tell your husband to say, which will make it slightly funny and less annoying. Oh, Iliza, I'm going to take to my bed.
That sounds like he's ill. Like take to the water.
Yeah.
Well, or it's very regal. It's a king.
No, it couldn't be worse. It's worse.
Take to my bed.
That does sound like you're sick. Because I also remember you were in The Road to Wellville. So I wonder if that's.
Oh, you saw that.
I did see that.
Who was Dana?
Yeah, he played like a mentally
kind of
handicapped person.
Street weirdo guy.
Excuse me?
Who was Anthony Hopkins was my dad, and I said
unhoused. I said unhoused.
Yes.
Okay.
It was an unhoused hobo?
I got to hang out with Sir Anthony Hopkins or Tony. But the last day there, I just said, see ya, Hoppy. But anyway, we're close.
We're close.
It was a thrill being with him. Just couldn't imagine anything more.
You
fun.
Played an unhoused bum.
An unhoused
like when you
bum.
Combine the good and the bad.
Creeping
phrases.
around this mansion in upstate New York and terrorizing Bridget Fonda.
Yeah, I actually have been to that. It's called the Mohawk Lodge.
Yes, and it is haunted, right?
I mean, anything old is going to be haunted. I mean, but we used to go there my dad used to take us there.
Really?
When we were kids. Yeah. It's so random. It's in
Wait, Iliza, is it called Mohonk?
Yeah. MOHO. And didn't we do a SNL retreat there or no?
We did a retreat in New York in Mohonk.
It's in not Plattsburgh. Something. It's up there by Hudson. Right. It's like up there.
Way up the Hudson.
It's an old
Dana,
building.
do you remember that? We all went, Iliza. All the cast members went up.
I was there. I was on.
What do you mean?
I was in the cast. I was on SNL.
You were there?
Yeah, I didn't do a lot that year.
You could have been 10. There for 3 seasons as a 10-year-old feature player. Just never got on.
Yeah, you could have played the junior high girl with the ponytail. What's up?
I will tell you, my daughter's just turned 3, and so it's on me to show her what's funny. So I showed her a bunch of In Living Color, and then I was like, you need to see this sketch. It's called Matt Foley, whatever he was. And it was the one with you and Christina Applegate.
Oh, yeah.
When he falls on the table. And I was trying to explain to her why that's funny when someone falls onto furniture. And that took the funny right out of it.
Did she react to it? I mean, she's 3.
Nope. But she will. She will ask for it. In like 6 months, she'll be like, I want to see the furniture guy. And then you'll be like, I will pull it back up for you.
The furniture guy.
Yeah.
Does she watch Miss Rachel?
No.
Really?
Just never thought about it.
I thought that was the big hook.
No, but we watch a lot of Michael Jackson Thriller on repeat, the whole video.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Because that's a little scary, right? It's monsters coming at you and stuff.
I was like, you need to know what good music is. Halloween was there. I was like, you have to know this. And now, I mean, if you're a parent, you will just live to see all of your favorite things repeated to you ad nauseum until you hate them. We listen to Thriller every morning.
Oh, boy.
Multiple times.
If you had to guess next Halloween, what would your child go as, you think? Would it be
I already know.
Spider-Man?
What? Oh, she's going as Elsa. I already asked her. It's either Elsa or Michael Jackson. It's whatever.
It's funny. Next year, it's in 9 months. She already knows on it.
3, 4, or 5. Halloween rocks. I mean, Halloween is for that age.
The pocket.
The cute kids, twick a tweet, and then the 15-year-old high school dude. Could I get some candy? Not fun.
So my block does the Halloween for our entire area. So it's like 1,000 people.
It's a job.
Not only that, the kids are so rude. They don't know to say trick or treat. And my joy in life is putting on a witch face and I heckle these kids.
Oh, I love it.
I try to be, and they kind of crave it. And when a kid comes back for candy and I'm like, I recognize you, get out of here, you little fat brat. And I turn them away. I don't call them fat, but I love to scare them because you have to say please and you have to say trick or treat. And they don't.
No, they don't know.
They know.
I was telling Dana that the Super Bowl has a Roman numeral like 48. I'm like, let me tell you something. No fucking kids know what goddamn Roman. Can we drop it with the Roman numerals? They don't even know what numerals means. They know the word number barely.
They can't read cursive. They're not reading ancient numbering systems.
The AI is going to teach your daughter.
It's so true. They're so stupid.
They no idea.
So excellent. Iliza, you are, I'm not reading this. Iliza, you from Dallas, but do you remember when you were there, you're too young, but my favorite club was the Dallas Improv on
Beltline.
Central and Walnut.
Oh, it moved because now it's in Addison.
Addison is one like next to a freeway.
The whole city's next to a freeway. It's Dallas, Texas. The whole city was built off a toll road.
That's so funny. That the Addison Improv, I used to call that. Okay, I played the Addison Improv, but there was a Dallas one, and the manager used to take us to the $1 Million Saloon. Dana, it wasn't a real regular like Old West saloon. Hey man,
Spellbinders in Houston. Anybody?
I'll tell you what. I think Dallas has, at least it used to have like more strip clubs per capita, and then I think Portland and probably Atlanta join the chat, but
join the chat.
Join the strip chat. But Dallas has a lot of them kind of down there in that area.
In that whole area down there.
The manager would take all the comics down there and he'd give them free passes. And they'd be like, oh, this is good. Oh, wait, it's good Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Wait,
was that when you were playing there?
No, Eliza. That's just they were only allowed to go.
I'll tell you what. I could
paper the room.
I could just see like any female comic working, like being like, "Oh, cool! Thanks for these strip club passes." I'm so glad. I'm so glad I can get these wings.
We had a good thing going. I remember. You won't know this because you're too young. But when I worked there at the Addison Improv, this cute waitress said she dated the drummer for NXS. Now this is going way back. That's an old band.
That's very.
And we're like, you don't even know who NXS is. There's not a chance because no one anywhere but LA sees anyone famous. Just never happens.
Right.
But God, lo and behold, that god dang drummer for NXS comes in the club when I'm there. I'm like, what? And he said, this ties into you. You got, the comedians, if you want, stay a day. And on the night off, we'll all go to see Michael Jackson. And I'll get his ticket. And he took us to Michael Jackson.
Where did you? That's amazing.
Somewhere in Dallas at some big dome. I was like, oh my God, it sounds like a lie. It might be a lie. Actually, I'm going to back off a little bit.
What do you mean it might be a lie? Did you go or did you not?
No, because you reacted too big. So I was like, wait, am I lying?
Oh.
I think it's true. No, I think it's true.
I saw him live, but I met him when he was 13.
Oh, yeah. You met him when you were a busboy
waiter at the Holiday Inn, bringing Michael Jackson and all the Jackson family dinner and
Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
At a Holiday Inn?
Holiday Inn, which was near a regional theater called the Circle Star Theater, 3,000 in the round. The Jackson 5 was playing there in 75. I was a busboy waiter, room service guy. And so I got to know him a little bit. You know, I always brought him raw carrots. And
is that you getting to know him?
You know, in the story,
thinks he's at the zoo.
It just makes the story better. I'd rather than I gave him carrots and left. Also, Little Richard, I waited on him. He answered the door naked. That's true.
What city is this?
This is San Carlos, California.
I feel unqualified to be on this because I don't have these storied, other than, like I don't.
You ran into Dane Cook at the Beverly Center.
Nobody wants to hear that. Yeah,
who'd be the person you'd most want to meet right now? Like a famous person. Well, he like Taylor Swift. You met her? I'm just throwing it out. Okay, most famous person.
I've never met her. I guess it's I don't know. I don't think it's about like, I want to meet them. It's more about like, I'd love to work with them.
I see.
But I mean, I met Billy Crystal once and I cried, and he was so nice because there as a comic, it's not about rock stars. I mean, I think if I met Nicki Minaj, I'd be like, we have to talk. I have so many things I've always wanted to say to you, and she would tolerate me, and she'd be like, whose mom is this? But as a comedian, there are so many people. If you're lucky enough in your career, your idols become your colleagues, And
that's very unique and kind of weird.
Well put.
Kind of sad. Like it's sad for the idol. but it's, I don't know. I think, I don't know. Anybody from, if I ever met Jim Carrey, of course, obviously I could never meet Chris Farley, but that would be impactful. Will Ferrell, I'm sure I will take a meeting with at some point and will embarrass myself.
Love Will Ferrell, yeah.
Big fan of Elizabeth Banks. I've only met her executive.
That's a good one.
I think I've chatted with her, but you see like women that were on SNL, like you see these people, and then you remember that they're just like you. These are just normal people. But Billy Crystal, I did cry because that was incredibly meaningful.
And
he was big when you were growing up. You were listening?
For me,
yeah.
Was it as him on SNL or him?
No, because that was again. I think this podcast should be called "You're Too Young to Remember This." But,
you're so young, and you're going to blow away.
I'm just wondering where you intersected with Billy Crystal.
Because he was on SNL, obviously.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, he did a movie. I mean, obviously there was City Slickers.
Yeah,
but he did a movie called Mr. Saturday Night, which sometimes gets overlooked by stand-up comics as this like seminal piece of work in terms of like movies about stand-up comedy.
Right.
But we watched it a lot growing up. And now that I look back at it, you realize how much of it was true in a way that you couldn't process it as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
With no context.
He did that character in a special. I think he did a special where he played all these characters at a house somewhere or something. And I remember it standing out. He's like really in the pocket with that character. And then he did the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
What did he sound like? Was he like this or something?
No, it was just a New York Jew. Just like a New York, like shticky.
What do you want?
What do
you want from me?
King of the Jungle. How about Queen or King of the? I think it was a Davy Crockett joke. It wasn't. It wasn't the jungle. It was King of the Wild Frontier.
It sounds like a joke.
How about and then
bum. Yeah.
Bum. And so I don't know, but I will say, I mean, anytime you work with anyone bigger than you, you're just kind of like, oh wow, this is. I feel bad for this person, but this is really cool that I'm here.
Where did you see him?
He was doing a town hall like for the New York Comedy Festival, and I had a show.
At the Y or something?
No, it was at Town Hall. Like it was
Town
called
Hall in New York.
Oh,
yeah. And I snuck back there, and I went like under the stage, like Phantom of the Opera style, and I was like, I bet he'll be here, and he was. No security because it's
John Hinckley style, more like.
I did it. Yeah.
And so you see him and you go up and and he's nice to you. That's great.
Somehow I always let people know, like, I'm a comedian, just so you know, like, I'm not a weirdo. Like, I'm like, I do what you do. We're the exact same. Can I get a picture?
Which means I'm a weirdo.
I'm a weirdo. And I took a picture.
Equals I'm a weirdo.
Well, there's also that thing with comics. Someone is a comic and you're like, are you, or is this something you like think about doing? But I do think it is a nice thing, like, to level the playing field. When a comic comes up to me, they're like, hey, I do comedy too. It's a nice way of being like, hey, like, I mean you no harm yet. Right.
It kind of like you're on the same club. Like anytime you go in the backstage comedy store, you walk in a club on the road, or you do a guest spot and you see comics, it's all like equal. Everyone's like, hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, like you could at least introduce yourself or say hi. I mean, but I always feel bad when like a comic is like, I couldn't get in. I'm like, if you're a comic, you can come in. You can always come in for free. I don't want people to think that and then you just say it, but you're allowed into these spaces to just hang out.
It's very interesting when you get an out of the blue compliment, because if you're just slumping around on a Sunday afternoon or something, and I think you totally forget that you're on TV, kind of, at least intellectually, and then all of a sudden some guy goes, I love you, man, and then walks away. Like, oh, thanks.
And they don't want anything too. And sometimes
that's kind of nice. They don't want anything.
The most humbling is when I'm like, because sometimes I'll say it because I know someone will be nervous because I'll pick up on the energy. I'll be like, did you want a picture? And then they say no. And I'm like, well, I'll just go fuck myself then. I didn't want to give you I feel so bad.
They're like, I don't want to go that far. I'm not really in it. I mean, you're fine, but let's not get off.
The wait in your VIP, this may not be relatable to a lot of people listening. The wait in your VIP line with people who paid a lot of money to meet you and have a photo. And then they'll say, I don't want a photo. I just wanted to say hi or thank you. And I'm like, okay, but you spent this is still $100. You sure you don't want a quick Snapchat? Quick something? Nope. You just want it. Okay. I respect it.
What about the people that you have
take a photo? Let's take a photo like it's my idea.
Let's take it.
That is good. But Dana, she's saying, what if you say no?
What if they go, I've never had anyone say no. I don't relate to
I've had people say, I only get 100,000 photos on my phone. I don't want to waste
say hello, bro. But I guess
backstage, let's say, Iliza, you're doing a corporate or regular backstage meet and greet, and they have a professional photographer, right?
Yeah.
So they go, this moves, boom, boom. And then you do it, and then everyone slowly pulls out their phone. After they get the real picture and goes, let's just do one on mine.
Take a selfie.
And it just dumps everything. And they're like, how do I flip my phone? I'm so nervous. What's my code again?
Okay, so
what do you do?
That's your tour manager's job. We have a policy, 1 picture per group. Now, you guys all came together. You have each other's numbers. You give the phone to the tour manager and we bang them out. There's I don't want to see you fiddle with your LG chocolate razor.
No fiddling.
No fiddling.
No, with your sidekick.
I don't want to see it. Just have it ready.
Suzuki sidekick.
with your Kawasaki jet ski. I don't want to see you.
Why did they stop making that sidekick phone, whatever? I remember Kid Rock had one. I thought he was so goddamn cool. He'd go, and it kind of spins out. Remember those?
It was so cool. I never had one, but they looked really cool.
I never had one either. They were too cool.
I have a question about phones, and no one's ever answered this to me.
Yes, sir.
Like they make these giant, library book size phones and, all that. Could I get a second phone that was tiny that I could just talk on that has the same number?
So everyone at home knows, Dana Carvey's holding up an iPhone 6 and I don't know how he still has it.
Is that a 6?
No, it's a normal phone. It's a normal phone. He's holding up an iPod Shuffle.
Shuffles were a great idea.
People have phones that just perform a phone call duty. It doesn't have the internet. Like people are going back to that now since we're all getting
a drug dealer.
Cancer.
Well, nice if you're just around town, you could have like this really light phone with the same number and still have this when you want to go show people videos. Come on, Tim Cook. Get your ass.
Is that how badly you want to show people videos? Like Dana Carvey's just walking around like, look at this cooking video. Look at this hibachi video.
Well, what it is, this is being recorded. I go, look at this is me with Iliza. This is me with David Spade, you know.
Yeah.
So
wait, actually, if I've seen women and they at dinner and they put down the two phones like stacked on each other, I'm like, hooker.
Oh, that's what you. Oh, I thought you meant like you got me hook, line, and sinker.
No,
you meant
I
that they're sex workers.
That's what they think. I mean, and then I go, nope, we got a hook alert.
When I first met David, he had a burner phone. I go, what's that for?
No way.
Never mind. You know.
Yeah, what is that, David? What's that about?
He's lying, but it's a funny fictitious scenario.
So I'm going to tell you the truth that nobody's going to cop to. Okay. Oftentimes, when you see someone with two phones, if they're not a drug dealer, and there are. I can think of a Kevin Gates song about having two phones. It's called Two Phones. It's oftentimes just a performative flex. Like, they're like, sorry, I just get so many. I can't. I'm like, this is a microcomputer with the entire power of the world in it. And you're telling me you're so you have so much going on that the internet can't hold all of your information. Your phone book is so full that you need two different.
Yeah.
I think if you're a mega celebrity, like most people just won't have your number. I'm not even that famous, and most of my calls go to an assistant. So the two phone thing, unless you have one for work that you throw in a drawer at the end of the day, is really, and people like hold them up to be like, oh, sorry, I just have two of these. Like, okay, we get it.
That is a good flex. Like,
it's a flex.
I'm gonna have three.
Performative flex is another possible special for you.
Yeah, with 3 X's.
So 6 specials. How in a pretty short, well, I guess they would spread them out, but it's a lot of specials.
It was in 1 year. It was in 1 year. We did 2 a month.
Man. How do you know when you show up what you're going to wear? Because I never know till like 10 minutes before. I guess I'll wear this shirt.
Oh, on your special, you mean?
On your special.
Yeah.
You plan it out.
To be fair, Dana, right now you look like you're in a sleeping bag.
To be fair, you didn't think anything before this.
It's an Adam Sandler puffy jacket.
Oh yeah, it's a Cotopaxi original. Oh no, we can tell.
No.
No, but you're right. That is a very funny observation.
Women know more about guys' clothes when they walk up and they size it all up, and the guys don't even know they're being analyzed. And it's like, I think this is a pretty good outfit. And they're like later going, did you see the shoes? He had this with that. They just know everything.
It's not, I mean, I used to, in one of my old specials, I have a bit about how we scan. Like we scan everything. And it's not about, because I'm not a gold digger. It's not about like, ooh, was that a nice watch? It was like, oh, are your shoes weirdly outdated to where it's like you had to make a choice between like these shoes or your electricity being on? Are you wearing like a Kenneth Cole reaction shoe, like that shows that no one's dressed you in a long time? Are you wearing workout gear, but you haven't done cardio? Are you wearing a tech vest? Are you wearing a Cotopaxi jacket? And they all inform us about are you wearing an Arctic's flannel? Like, do you have a cocaine addiction? Like there's all these things for better, for worse. But to answer your question, of course, we plan the outfit. I think I work my material. I think the outfit is second to how precious the material is, and then the lighting and everything else. But the outfit gets planned well. Well,
I saw a clip of you. Well, you were wearing, it was kind of black, and then there was sort of hip flexors were exposed.
Hip flexing.
Yeah, and it was kind of a cool look. You know, I mean,
it's very cool.
I'm
revealing.
Trying to be invisible.
It is.
You know, I have like.
I'm a bit of a prude.
I have 50 black T-shirts.
You know, look, I'm not gonna pretend like as a woman what you wear doesn't matter, and there's certain silhouettes I enjoy, and for this special, I just wanted to do something sexy but powerful but fun. I found the pants prior to having my last baby, so I held on to those pants for like a full year. And I was like, I'm going to get into these pants come hell or high water. And I just stared at them every day.
Do you feel like when I was trying on shit for my stupid special, like, it's guys, it's like,
Nobody cares.
90% of the time, a t-shirt and a coat. And it's usually those jackets with no collar or whatever. So I was trying something on, but I don't usually wear coats on stage. I don't do much movements, but I don't want to have any resistance anywhere. Like, it's too tight, or you're trying to look good and you're like, I can't really do what I do, and I'll think about it. I'd rather just be loose. So that's why my excuse is I don't look that great on them. Also, I have one coming out in the future.
I didn't know I was going to wear.
Again,
what is the title of it, David?
Did you call it your stupid special? That's what you just said. You were like, in my stupid special.
My stupid special, this garbage. I think it's called This Garbage. And I didn't decide what I was wearing because I brought two things to the special and we were backstage and I was doing them both. And I go, this. We wound up doing a combo platter because they said you have 5 minutes before you go on. So this is what I'm worried about before I go on and the crowd is there. And they're like, guys, what is he walking out in? So we just know for whatever reason. They want to know a month ahead.
They got to steam it.
They got to steam no matter what you're doing. Steam
as long as you don't have wrinkles. Look, here's the deal. In terms of men's comedy, there's Eddie Murphy Raw, and then there's whatever else the rest of you guys wear. Like, it either has to be impactful and iconic, or literally no one cares.
I'm going with literally no one cares. I'm going with people go, what did he wear in the special? And they're like, oh, did he have any clothes on? We don't even remember.
That's how good the material was.
Laughed at the jokes or we don't, but we go, that means literally nothing. Why guys care? That's why I go, I don't really care. Just what do I wear all the time? People have already decided they like me or they don't. Let's just.
Well, I think it's all about what you give to your audience. And I don't think people watch you for a sartorial experience. And I think when you're a woman, people have to, like, it is about what you're wearing. You know, does it hug your body? Can they see your body? Are they not seeing your body? Is that deliberate? I think women get judged on these things in a good and a bad way. But for guys, it's just not the way that we think about you. Like, if someone sees you, it's like, oh my God, it's David Spade, not, oh, maybe on a Saturday night, like, did you see those leather pants? You know, it's just not it's just not part of your brand.
And some females are like, are you a hoodie comic or do you dress up? It's almost, you know what I mean?
Well, that's because for the longest time, you know, the audience, it took them a while to wrap their minds around the fact that a woman was speaking. But now I think, you know, I see a lot of younger girls just going up and just everything's out and they don't think about it. And the answer is you're welcome. It's because of women like me in our generation putting in that work in those American Apparel hoodies so you could wear a belly shirt.
Hoodie comic.
I was one of them. My picture is on the improv wall next to yours, actually, and I'm in that hoodie. Very low-rise pants. Yeah, you're right next to mine. It's right when you walk in.
Iliza, do you remember when I brought you up wrong?
Yes. Do you want to tell it? Because it was a very sweet story.
You tell it.
I feel like I remember half of it.
It was in the original room at the Comedy Store. So I think I brought you up and I said your name wrong, right?
Definitely.
I said your name wrong. It's a tricky name.
To be fair, it is awful.
I think I got the first name wrong.
Yeah,
not even your last name. Yeah. So what? Oh yeah. So I felt so bad because it was very unprofessional. Even though intros are always screwy, like Bobby Lee's coming in this idiot, blah blah blah. He's my dad. You know, it's always screwy. Mess up the credits. But I said her name wrong. I didn't know her enough to do her name wrong. And then Adam Egett was working there. So I said, can I get Iliza's email maybe? Or
yeah.
Just to apologize for doing that.
It was you got it. And I got it. So for people listening, Adam Egett was the general manager of the Comedy Store. And now I think he manages Mothership in Austin. Yeah. And he texted me and he was like, Spade's going to message you. And because I think I may have said something to you. Or I didn't. But the way he said Spade's going to talk to you, the vibe was like, hey, you did something wrong. And now Comedy Royalty is about to not only blacklist you, but you should never have gotten upset that he mispronounced. Like, it was like Spade's going to, he didn't say reach out. Reach out is a good thing. It's like Spade's going
to
bring down the hammer. And I was like, okay. And you reached out and I was never going to say anything ever again because I knew it wasn't personal. And you went out of your way to say that it was a mistake and you were sorry. And I couldn't believe that someone of your stature that David Spade was reaching down to little old me to be like, hey, sorry about that. In an industry where people are like aggressively awful to each other for fun. And I always remember that about you. And unfortunately for you, I was like, oh, cool. Now we're friends. Now I can always talk to him.
Yes. And then I said, no, I got to get it right now all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
Because I can't mess it. I can't keep messing it up. One time, Dane and I went on the original room and Bill Burr was next, but he was in the hallway bullshitting. Just like a typical night. And I got the hiccups, like I'm sure to Bill, like a girl. And I've never done this. And I hiccuped up every joke and they started laughing, but it was too much because it was like the same thing over and over. And they're stopping laughing. And after about 3 minutes, I go, hey, is Bill out there? and I go, and I hear, what? And I go, can you come up now? I have to get off. And he's like, you got the fucking hiccups? And then I was like, oh, this is the worst guy to go after me.
Yeah,
because
that's
now his first 5 minutes was like, this fucking pussy. So that was funny. But that was another OR story. Similar. He didn't apologize ever.
No. But just know that if you're watching a show and comics give each other shit like that, it's because they're friends. I don't think I've ever really seen a comic like fuck up and then the next comic gets mad about it. Like it's never, I've brought up comics I don't even like and I've never given them a bad intro. I've never been like, this next guy tried to sexually harass me over the phone and now I'm famous and he's not. Please welcome. Like I would never do that.
I think all you did, now I'm thinking about it, when I walked up and said your name wrong, you took the mic and you go, it's Iliza. And then you just went on and did, but you weren't scolding me. You just said it right for the audience to know. And then I was like shot leaving the stage like Platoon. I was like, oh.
And because I deigned to softly correct it. And then Adam's like, Spade's going to talk to you. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. He's going to get mad that I knew my own name. And you were so nice.
There's a rumor you softly corrected someone. And you're like, I think I did. He's like, what the fuck?
You owe David Spade an apology. Your name is now Iliza.
Miss Shlesinger. That's
Shlesinger.
There you go.
Miss Iliza Shlesinger.
What's the most common mispronunciation, or is there one?
What Dana just did deliberately or not? I can't tell if it's a bit.
No, I was kidding.
Okay, thank God. It's Shlesinger, Schlesinger, but I don't even correct people because it ultimately doesn't matter. Because the more painful part is having to then hear them try to correct it, and then it becomes like a linguistics lesson.
Sure.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm just trying to promote this show.
I just got this special. Yeah,
I was introduced
I'm just doing
Dana
12.
Garney a lot. Dana Garney. This next comedian's kind of funny. Some people
Dana Garney?
It's just reading off a piece of paper. Dana, D-A-N-A, and then they just, the V became an N or something. Dana Garney, ladies and gentlemen.
Greg Fitzsimmons told me that he one time, and he's in my phone as this, got Grapefruit Simmons.
I don't mind that.
People are just uneducated, not checked in, just out to lunch, just making up words, not reading.
But Iliza, how nerve-wracking is it when they go, there's no MC, and you're up there and they go, and you go, who's next? And they're like, Bill Squankmeyer. And you're like, this next guy is so good. You don't even know who they are. You've never even heard of them.
Do you remember
you don't know what to say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the art of stand-up is 99% making up a bullshit credit for the next comic who you have no real reference for.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Right? It used to just be clubs and colleges. But now that's, I mean, if you're playing colleges as your main thing, like maybe you're not doing great. And used to be Comedy Central, which it really isn't anymore. Yeah. So now, I mean, I brought up a comic the other night and I was like, you know him from the internet. Please welcome. It was Morgan J, and who is known from the internet. It's not like you met him on Star Search. And so I thought, I just usually like, this next comic is hilarious. One of my good friends. Please welcome.
I do that. Yeah.
Anyone is next.
Yeah.
Crowd
just
doesn't
throw
know.
Someone out here. All right, let's plug Iliza's thing one more time before we let her go. And I will say before I let you go, Iliza,
a different animal.
I just talked to today someone I said you were coming on, and they said, tell her Good on Paper movie is great. And that is a Netflix movie.
That's right.
That you wrote?
I wrote it. It's based on a true story, and I starred in it, and it's available for streaming 24 hours a day.
And it is
Good on paper.
It's very hard to write a movie. And you were in it.
It's even harder to make one. Turns out it takes a lot.
So hard to make a movie. Yes. So vouch for that. And the special, Dana, say the name of the special. I'll let you do it.
A Different Animal, Amazon Prime, March 11th.
We shot it in
where?
In Salt Lake City, which I knew.
That's a great place.
Right? It's secretly an incredible comedy town.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't think that, and they're the best. And I have to be honest with you guys, you are my first podcast I've done to promote it. So you're the first person, I guess it was Dana, that I've heard say the special out loud because the title's been a secret.
That's cool. How big was the theater? What did you do this time? Size-wise?
It was the Eccles. So that's, I want to say 2,300. I also want to say 1,800. It's all such a blur, but we did 2 tapings at the Eccles and it was gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And the outfit was hot fire. So I'm excited for everyone to see it.
I would do one in Salt Lake. They're good. Good crowd.
The outfit was cool. If it's the one, I think. Yeah.
I hope it is. I hope they sent you the materials. Salt Lake City is basically people, not everyone there is Mormon, but what you get is a city of like almost no crime, people who don't really drink alcohol, jacked up on sugar from soda shops, and just really looking for a good time before church. That's who's there.
That's right.
I got to play that.
And
place.
They're good.
You got to. Dana, they would love you.
Dana. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Iliza. We'll talk soon. I'll see you at the store.
I'll see you tonight.
All right. Thanks for
Enjoyed
talking.
Bye, you guys. Nice to meet you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman. Okay, we've got Marc Maron, Dana, who I see a lot at the Comedy Store, comedian, obviously a huge podcaster, one of the OG podcasters that had always, you could always hear, he's still going with it, but, you know, it was all the big names, all the interesting stuff. And I see him do stand-up all the time, and I run into him a lot, and he's a good dude.
And we were just curious about, like, because he and Rogan and a few others kind of started in, like, 08, 09 or podcasting when it was just like a caveman thing with no audience and who would do that. And then it grew to this behemoth. And he got President Barack Obama on his podcast. And to do his podcast, he had to drive way up in the middle of nowhere and in the middle of LA. And so that was a big thing. So we do talk about his journey. It wasn't easy all the time. The podcast kind of saved him. And he created, I think he's done 1,600 episodes.
He has a lot of stories, and he's very self-winding watch. Like, we didn't have to prompt too much. He really had a lot of great things to talk about. So, I was into it, and that hour blew by. So
it went by fast. He knows how to podcast. He really told some good stories, funny, and it was interesting. I would keep listening.
Yeah. So check him out. Here's Marc Maron.
Yeah. How these glasses? I got other choices.
I got better ones.
Are you in the same house? You're in the same. You have not moved.
Since you
it looks
did
familiar.
This is a different house, but the stuff behind me probably looks familiar because all the stuff from that original garage is in this room.
Are you in the same neighborhood? Can you? Or you don't have to tell us your actual.
Is it Los Feliz?
You want me to just send you a link to a map where everybody?
No, drop me a pin.
Well, I already have a map of your house. That'll be for. It's called After Talk. Anyway, whatever.
No, I'm in Glendale. I was in Highland Park.
I got it.
Yeah,
I like that place.
The old place.
Yeah, I mean it was casual and cool.
Cozy,
you had guitars and
I still got all that. A little more spread out. Before, like it was like that was less than 1,000 square feet, one bathroom. Like if you had to go to the bathroom, you had to go into the same bathroom that I use.
Ooh.
I live in a very small house. Everything you own owns you back. I'm not into it. You occupy a house. You live in your body. You can't fuck a house. You can't eat it.
I think you can fuck a house. It really just depends on where you enter. And
I saw a thing on A&E about it.
Comedians don't laugh. They just think.
What about the guy that married his car?
I want to start the podcast this way. Every comedian knows this about you. Where were you, David, when you heard that Marc Maron has Barack Obama on his podcast? Because that was like, what the fuck? Because this was early days of podcasting.
Right.
I remember being blown away by that.
I think most people were still kind of like, what is a podcast exactly? Yeah. And where do I got to go?
Yeah, totally. It was 20w12, right? So it was
16. It was 16. Still but the number of people that used to come to that old house would drive up to my driveway and literally say, like, where are we? Is this part of LA? I've never been out here. Yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah. I can't believe you got him out there, because I can't believe you got me out there. I can't believe you got Todd Glass out there. So Obama was a bigger one.
Yeah. Rich Voss was right after Obama. That was tough to get him out. Yeah. It gets hard sometimes.
Was it a ratings drop so much you pulled a muscle? Or
we just thought it was appropriate to just to continue what we were doing.
All right.
We did one episode where me and my producer discussed the day of having Obama on the podcast, and we went right to Rich. And Rich is going to pull what he's going to pull. It's somewhere lower middle. It's okay.
Well, Rich is, no offense to him, I was just laughing. Like, whoever has to follow Obama is just going to be a tough sledding. That's
right.
I don't know if he thought about it like that. Rich is a good guy.
I don't think he gives a shit.
So everyone had a podcast now, like literally. So it's you and Rogan, right? 2009. So
I guess it was really like Carolla was there. Rogan, I don't think started at the same. I think Rogan started a little after us, but like Jimmy Pardo was there. Benson was probably there. Maybe Hardwick was like starting out. I think Rogan started a little after me, but there was like 4 or 5 guys collectively not making money doing podcasts.
Todd Glass is good at not making money, and I think he had one early. He's a good friend of mine.
Right, with Jimmy Dore.
Yeah. So that's a while.
Yeah, but that was there.
I think what happened with that was he put in all that work and was very forward thinking, and I think got out right before the money. Maybe or does he still do it?
No, I think that's Todd's whole plan in general, is to try to
get
ahead of making the money.
Yeah, that's kind of. But what's funny is I used to think a podcast, because he had it in my friend's car shop upstairs, which he just rented, which was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And
the odd thing about the whole undertaking was none of us really. There was really no money to be made. Adam was like doing his radio show, so he was kind of subsidized somehow.
Did he get fired and said, "Okay, I'm just going to do it on here," kind of thing? There wasn't at 97.1, maybe,
or he got fed up, mad about something
like that.
Not fired, he was, but whatever. Yeah,
he was all worked up, and he was going to take his stories about drywalling from 20 years ago elsewhere.
He is a handy man.
That's funny.
He's good with a tool.
But I was like. I got a little bit of a tsunami warning, because I remember I thought Carolla's, I think I went on there a little early, where I was like, before the real podcast thing was sort of hitting, which it was sort of a slow, I could get a feel for it before most people, because everyone else has just got their head doing their work and they do normal jobs. But I started to go, oh no, is this something? And then I said, I'm going to wait till it's a little late, and then we're going to try one. So
but the good thing about when you guys got in is somebody realized, like, hey, you guys have names. You can't lose. Before, it was like, who the fuck are these guys?
We found a way to lose.
Well, good for you. But I don't think anybody really realizes the excitement in when Carolla was like the only game in town. Like, I think there's a sort of baptism when one goes on to Carolla's show to be talked at by Carolla.
Right.
That's a good hour of entertainment where you're there as a guest and he talks at you and then says, okay, well, thanks for coming by. It's something to be experienced.
We're working on that.
There's room for everybody. But did you have a eureka moment that you could call back on, like, holy shit, maybe there's money in this? Because how long did you do it essentially for free before money started to arrive?
Hold on, I'm watching my cat throw up. Don't eat plastic. Get out of the room. Did you have a
urethra moment? I did when I peed last night.
I'm checking celebrity net worth. Okay, anyway, so
I don't even know if that's right. Well.
No, I'm kidding. I didn't check.
What happened was there was like at the beginning, you either had, if you were going to put up a paywall, you couldn't get new audience, right? So we had done a radio show.
A goodbye wall.
Yeah, goodbye wall. No one welcome. But
let's put up a goodbye wall on ours, Dan.
You can do it. Well, that was before the what is it called? What's the thing everyone does where they can get a pay page? Pantheon or what is it?
Raytheon. We all don't
Raytheon
know.
You know that.
I know what you mean.
Patreon.
Yeah. So what we did was we had like 2 advertisers from the old radio days. It was sex toys. It was like Adam and Eve sex toys, and we had
Crazy Eddie's electronics,
that kind of thing. But then we had the coffee sponsor. But there was really no way to make money, and except for the old school radio way. And then ultimately we started working with old timey radio ad people, and then Jeff Ulrich and Scott Aukerman put Midroll together. And the Earwolf Network, and that created a platform to get advertisers into specifically podcasting. So everyone sort of came up together, but it wasn't until I guess, hey, Charlie, get away from the plastic. Charlie, I'm going to throw you out, stupid. So that's how you talk to a cat, by the way.
Is that your tech?
Yeah, that's my producer.
That's your IT guy.
I don't know. You know, it was a slow going, but the great thing about it was everybody kind of came up together, sort of like show business. Everybody was kind of figuring it out as we all went along, and then big money got involved, and then some people won, and some people did okay. Come on,
dude. Charlie's here now. Charlie, give me that plastic.
Get him out of the. Hold on, let me get him out of here. Let me get him out of here.
This cat
Charles,
is magic.
Honestly,
Charles,
put him on Glendale Freeway. I know.
Well, I can't just fucking get out. You can eat plastic and throw up.
I don't care. It's showbiz, Heather. We got to get Charlie out of the room.
But yeah, I mean, it took a long time to really get it together, and then to make a living. It took years for my producer to come on with me permanently. He was actually had another job at MSNBC while he was kind of moonlighting, and he couldn't even admit that he worked with me.
Because
there's a non-disclosure. You couldn't, he couldn't.
I see.
Yeah, it was part of his contract with MSNBC, and I felt horrible about it because he's doing half the work, and I just had to be like, well, I have a mystery guy that helps me with this. I send it into the ether once or twice a week.
It's good. More attention on you. That's not horrible.
Yeah, sometimes not great for me.
What's the headspace like when you first start doing this?
Yeah.
I guess when it starts to emerge, you're starting to be successful.
Right.
And you're going, okay, I did this interview. I get this reaction. I do this interview. Holy shit. This is 10 times 10X.
Well, I think the exciting part about it was like, as the podcast situation grew, I was doing a type of interview that not many people were doing anymore. So the entertainment press sort of realized I was doing most of their job. So we got a lot of attention, but I was really focused on having these conversations and trying to, make amends where necessary. I think the first 100 episodes are me just having people over so I can talk about my problems and apologize to them. Cool. And it's weird how many times you do that and people go like, I had no idea what you're talking about. And you're like, I'm a fucking idiot. So that was how that unfolded. But the excitement of having Robin on, because that interview seems to be like the only interview like that. Like when he died, it was everywhere because he never talked like that. And those kind of rare conversations definitely happened.
That was interesting because it became very, very real with Robin. And he never, he had made amends to me in Mill Valley on a sidewalk just after a show.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why.
For a bid he just stole? Sorry.
I just said to him, he had some idea that I took. I said, I tried to do you. You don't understand. I had a trunk of props. I worshipped you,
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was from AA or something like, oh, this wasn't supposed to go this way. It's supposed to be a hug. You're forgiven.
Yeah.
But I didn't. He thought I had a thing where I named my dick Mr. Happy and that he took that from me. I know that's not true. I never did Mr. Happy. Look where this goes on podcast.
That's hilarious. That was the amends. It wasn't even like some personal affront. It's like, I know you might have called your dick Mr. Happy. Yeah. And Oh, that's the best amends I ever heard in my life.
He said it to me 20 years earlier at Dennis Miller's wedding. We were at the same table. Oh, I wonder, perhaps I got Mr. Happy from you. And I go, no. And then it tortured him.
It stuck with him. Well, the funny thing about that interview is I drove up there to Mill Valley to his house. And what I realized, it was the same with Mel Brooks, is that if they don't have more than 2 people to play to, they're not going to turn it on like that. Like it was just me and Robin. If there had been one other person there, they would have had the Carnegie Hall set.
Yeah.
My dick's name is Mr. Sad, and a side note. And no one's stolen it yet. Okay, that's all I wanted. Go ahead. Just want to stop the momentum.
My dick's name is You Got This. You got it.
My dick's name is Come on, champ. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
My pronouns are What's up, motherfucker?
Sorry, there you go. Call Roseanne.
So you get successful. I want to do a deep dive on you. Yes, but your brand of authenticity.
No, I have a question for Marc Maron.
Did you guys run out of SNL guests? How did I get this gig?
No, this is good because
your story of SNL. Just a quick insert, David. When we interviewed Lorne Michaels, listened to your podcast about auditioning for SNL. Just to get ideas of how Lorne is in that environment. So you are an SNL guy. Your journey with that is fascinating. If you want to talk about it,
my obsession with it. What's your question, David? I'd like to converse.
This one we can do this first or SNL first. But mine was, why did you start it? Was it only to make amends? Was that to start a podcast?
No, because I was kind of down for the count. It turns out that 50 Conans don't necessarily
don't add up to a Carson.
don't add up to
Conans,
an audience.
I was going to say I saw 50 Conans on here, and I was going to say, does that bump your road? Does it?
No, it didn't. And
50 Conans.
I don't even know. Like I never could pull an audience, and I was going through a divorce. I was in a dark place. I just gotten fired from this radio gig. It was a streaming gig for Air America, and there were a couple podcasts out there, and we were like, well, let's figure it out. I talked to my producer, who I've known since he was a kid, 24 years old. He worked with me forever, and we just figured it out. But it was really desperation and wanting to stay in the game somehow, because I was looking down the barrel at a lifetime of B comedy rooms as a non-selling headliner and
match game.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, I know. Believe me,
I have friends that are in that mid-level market, and there's cruise ships and old folks' homes and clubs, off-label clubs out in the hinterlands.
Doing what you got to do.
It's tough,
but I couldn't do it. There was no way I could have done it. How am I going to do a cruise ship? I can barely do what? I don't know. But because of the podcast, because of the cosmic timing or what, everything that I have now came from that. Like, doing the TV show for IFC, drawing an audience for my comedy, acting gigs, everything happened because of that sort of act of desperation and Hail Mary pass, which had no future. I wasn't getting into a business that was like, we're going to really make some money on this. It was like, we didn't even know how to get people to listen to it.
Yeah. You were like Bitcoin, like no one cared.
No one cared. I wasn't even a meme at that point.
Yeah.
But it worked out. I mean, thank God it worked out. I can't even explain it because I'm not like I don't think about money, David.
Yeah. Oh, you don't?
I like having it enough to eat.
Yeah.
That's how my brain works is like, well, you have money now. What do? I can eat wherever I want.
That's the ceiling.
Money is freedom. That's what it's for. Even the great Neil Young, about 2 years ago, finally sold part of his catalog and said, I can, and this is Neil Young. You'd think he'd be so rich, but he said, now I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to tour if I don't want to. That he bought his freedom. So money to me, especially as an older comedian, you want to be able to work the way you want to work. So that's
interesting about Neil Young is he kind of held back on what seems to be about 50 records he never released. So he somehow or another, he can release records every year or so, from 1970. Oh, yeah, and it's amazing. Funny. He came to my house.
If you're spending $3-4 million a year, then you need a lot of money to cough that up, But I was going to ask you about your library, because is it 1,600 episodes or something?
Something like that. Yeah, it's like about 1,600. But Neil came over once. That was interesting with Neil.
Oh, you interviewed. Oh, you had Neil. What? Tell me about that. I didn't hear that one.
Well, because I'm enough of a fan to know enough about him. I'm much better if I'm not a big fan of somebody in terms of interviewing. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what to expect. He was out pushing. Remember when he made that he was partnered up with a company that made that thing that was supposed to compete with the iPod?
Oh yeah.
Sound. He's a sound fanatic.
Yeah, well, I forget what it's called.
It was something else.
No, it was like a box.
Yeah,
like a portable box. Oh, what was it called? So they send me this thing, and they send me these fancy headset, and it picks up a bigger spectrum of sound, and people have to re-record for. But what was it called? Doesn't matter. So they send me.
Greg, look it up.
They send me the thing, and I listen to it. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll talk to Neil Young. They sent me the thing, and I was told that like when they get there, you're gonna have to give it back. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So Neil Young's coming over, and I'm nervous because it's fucking Neil Young, and like I know that with somebody like him, because I'm not a huge fan, every Neil Young nerd in the world is going to be listening for new information or call me an idiot for not knowing something. That's something I've learned with guys like Springsteen, these guys I interview. So Neil comes over with his like 80-year-old posse. He's got two guys with him that, must have been in their 70s. Elliot, his manager who passed away, and another guy. And
it's always the manager is even older than the old guy.
Oh, yeah. Except for George Shapiro, who was Carl Reiner's cousin, younger, but still old. I don't even know if he's still alive.
Pono?
Yeah, I think he passed away.
Pono, Pono.
Pono Music, digital service.
Pono Music, yeah.
So they come over, and Neil walks in, and you remember the house. You said it, like it's just two rooms. He's looking at my records. He looks at a guitar I have out. He goes over and he plays the guitar, and he's looking around. And I say, all right, so I guess you guys can have back the Pomo and the headphones. And Neil just goes, no, you can keep them. So I'm thinking, I'm in. This guy likes me, right?
Yeah.
So we go out to the garage, and I decided the way to start with him is just, I have an old amplifier that I think he uses one similar to it. So I figured that'll get things started, right? So I get Neil out there, and I'm like, so you probably recognize that amp there, right? He's like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. And I'm like, fuck. And then it was just, well, he did though, but I didn't know. No one told me he likes to fuck with interviewers. So he's making me work my balls off. And it wasn't until I got him laughing that it opened up. But it took like 15 minutes, and it was hard. But then like all of a sudden he pops open. He's talking about doing Pilates with Daryl Hannah, and all this stuff is coming out. And then apparently he goes home, and at his house, Dan Rather is waiting to interview him for Dan Rather's podcast. I don't know.
Access or something.
Whatever the hell it was, right?
Yeah, cable. Yeah.
And my buddy Brendan's friend works for Rather. And apparently Neil Young walks in, and he comes from my house. He says, I just did a really great interview. And Dan Rather, off camera, of course, says, what made it great? He goes, the guy was fearless, and he wasn't afraid to fail. And I'm like, hey, that's good. That's a good blurb.
Wow.
But he tested me. He definitely tested me.
Wow.
Shit, I would freak out.
That we had David and I a similar thing with Paul McCartney, and I don't know if you have, or with your personality, but podcast regret. Like, why did I interrupt him then? That was the best part. Why did it take me so long to get there? Yeah. And I'll be kind of in my head really for a couple of weeks sometimes. McCartney bothered me for probably a month.
I get is like, fuck, I forgot to cover the most important thing they're known for.
Yeah.
But I interrupt all the time, and people sometimes get on me. But it's like for me, it's like, it's got to be a conversation, and I have to be part of it. So suck it up or don't listen. But McCartney was funny. I had to interview him in front of a crowd. And that was really one of the best moments I've had talking to somebody, because I talked to a lot of these guys who are like, pushing a record, and a lot of them, like Roger Waters, or like I've interviewed a lot of Thomas Dolby, whatever. They think that the record they're out promoting is their best shit, right? And it's like, all right, I'll play along. So with McCartney. So
you have to.
So with McCartney, he's out selling. It was at Capitol Records. It was an event, but the record that he had out was Egypt Station or something, which no one bought. But I said to him, I said, so Paul, a lot of artists who are in your age group, they really think that they're doing their best work now. Do you feel that way? And without missing a beat, he goes, well, I was in the Beatles. So that's a pretty high bar. It was so funny.
That's
interesting. And I was the guy that told him that Manson had died. He didn't know.
I think for me, there's a lot of us. Where are you in the I mean, I wanted to ask you musically, but also movies. But with music, what is there somebody you haven't had yet, or who is your true North Star? Was it Springsteen? Was it Roger Waters, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon? For me, Paul McCartney, a Beatle was kind of the epitome.
Beatle was great. And I met Ringo recently, who I'm sure you've met. He's a pretty sweet guy.
No, we would love to interview Ringo.
Yeah, I met him at some odd listening party that I got invited to by T-Bone Burnett of Ringo's new country record. And that crowd was pretty interesting to see these like 75-year-old hippie girls who are still kind of hippie girls, but they're 75. Yeah. But
wait, who had the country album? Ringo?
Yeah, Ringo. Just put it out.
Yeah.
T-Bone Burnett produced it. And I think now Beyonce did. I think she got a little more press, but but no, for me, the North Star, I've had most of them. Springsteen was funny because, and I just saw him because I did a little part in that movie they're making about him. But I went to Jersey, dude. I went to his house in Jersey, like Christmas week, and he just put that book out. And, it turns out he's a very dark dude, very hard on himself, but all this stuff. But he's got this thing he does publicly. That's the other trick, getting around people's public personas. Because, Bruce is sort of like, hey, me and the guys went down this boardwalk. And so
saw some pussy, wrote a song.
Yeah. So
we know all about that.
Yeah.
It's the underbite. Yeah.
I get there and like I said, he's up in his house. I'm waiting in some sort of this other structure that's got his guitars, his motorcycle in it. And I'm waiting for Bruce. And he has no idea really, I don't think, who I am, because he's walking down. He's walking down from the house. His publisher and publicist said, you should do this one. And he's walking down from the house. I just see him coming down, little Bruce. Yeah. And he's holding the book. And I'm like, oh, he doesn't know what he's getting into. So,
here we go.
So he sits down and I'm just I want to break the ice quick. Cause again, I love Bruce, but I'm not a huge Springsteen fan. So I said to him, so what's going on up at the house? We had a preparation for the holidays, cooking and presents. And he goes, correct. And I'm like, can I talk to that guy for the whole hour? Whoever the guy that just went correct with that tone, I want that Springsteen.
And how did you do that? Did you?
Yeah. I kind of reeled him in because by inserting myself into the conversation, they're forced to kind of reckon with me unless they're complete douchebags like Ben Kingsley. So, and I don't mean to name drop, but
no names.
I love Sexy Beast.
Yeah.
Fucking dude, unbelievable.
It was the worst interview. I should have told him to leave. It was that bad. And I don't know why I didn't, because he's hung up on being called
Sir Ben.
Sir Ben. So I didn't do that at the beginning. And I wish I just said, Sir Ben, we don't have to do this. We don't have to do it. But anyway, with Bruce, I kind of pushed in, and to the point where I was relating to him and his experience with audiences and stuff. And I just remember there was this moment where, we were talking about what you get from an audience and how it's not enough sometimes. And he was like, of course it isn't. So I had him locked into a real conversation, which again, I heard from another person. I got some notes on that too, because Paul Wilkenfeld, you know her, the bass player? Mm-hmm. She's a little prodigy. She plays with everybody. And she's
played with Jeff Beck at one point?
Yeah, tall.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she hangs around the store a lot and stuff. Oh. Well, she was going on a press tour and she, I guess, was, somewhere with Bruce. And she was asking for advice on how to handle interviewers. And Bruce told her that no matter what they want to talk about, you just talk about what you want to talk about. Just, bulldoze.
Yeah.
And then she said, well, my friend Marc Maron interviewed you. And he said, yeah, he pushed.
Oh, that's good. Well, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger would say that. He'd say, you'd ask him a question like, what happened with those maids? And he goes, this movie is unbelievable. And he's like, because you can't use anything but what he says, and he doesn't even acknowledge your question.
I love that Arnold can never go negative. He had one movie, I guess Last Action Hero, he's on with Matt Lauer. Well, the box office wasn't quite, no, people love the movie, and it's a great hit all over the world. And, he can't ever go negative. But
the best dance he does is around his dad probably being a Nazi. That's the great dance, because he'll always preempt that with like, I have many Jewish friends, like, okay.
He taught us to salute, and for us it was just, if you want a candy bar, you do the salute, and he gives you a little chocolate in your hand.
We didn't know what it was about.
And things like this, and all these things, and these people, and what these aliens, all this stuff,
exactly.
All this stuff.
Does he ever talk about the maid? We love Arnold.
He has a relationship with the kid, and I think after a certain point, you just kind of focus on that, because whatever the transgression was, he's owned it, and he's good with the kid. So
once everything came out, and then he finally goes, "All right, let's go bench." And the kid is like trying to meet him in the middle, like, I work out.
Yeah, you're my dad. Look at my face.
It is what
you can't run from
you
that
have
kid.
to move on. It's a lesson. I mean, one of my brothers, I've got 3 older brothers, and we always say, what would Arnold do? Only for the positivity of it. It is what it is, and you have to move on, and I love everybody. And it, rather than negative and whiny, but it seems to me like anxiety is like a theme or depression of artists in some ways. So you go with that. Did you? Because Springsteen's whole book is about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was the great thing about talking to Arnold, is that he won't let you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got a switch in his head. Like he won't even hear it. Like, and he's very charming. Like he gets on, he sits down, he goes, look at your pecs. He goes right into it, and you kind of feel flattered. You're like, oh, thank you.
Somebody skipped Delt Day.
You know what he said to us, Mark? He goes, how do you guys stay so lean? Because you're little. And the whole thing now is to get little, because the little dogs live longer than the big dogs. I'm
you two little dogs interview
You're
me.
so little.
The whole time, he's not even
little?
listening to our questions. He's just staring at our physique going, look at that rib cage.
I need to get small. When you get older, you have to be small. Because the heart and all the things have to work hard, and all the things and all the people.
I think his heart kind of blew up, didn't it? He had some work done in there.
I have another question for Mark. This is my second one. Mark, do you think, you don't remember this, you were in the movie Joker. Now, do you think, what happened to the second Joker, in your humble opinion?
I don't know what, I think Todd Phillips convinced himself that he was actually an artist of some kind, and decided to take this interesting cinematic risk that, failed miserably, apparently. But I didn't see it. Did you?
I heard about it. I couldn't get through the poster.
I didn't see it. I just I couldn't take when I
and I love Todd Phillips. So I think that's one of those things, as I backtrack, I think it's one of those things where great movie, Dana was about to say some comments, but the same thing, great movie, and then it's just crazy if you can do literally anything you want. And he just goes, let me just try, this will work or it won't work.
Well, the interesting thing is he'd rebuilt a good franchise possibility by really exploring that character in the first one.
Cool. So weird and cool.
And, it was, I don't know, he was nice to me, and that was an exciting day because, I got to do like a little scene with Robert De Niro, and, I thought that movie was pretty good, that first Joker, but who the hell knows why? He's a gambler, dude. He just is like, fuck it.
Sure.
Let's do it. And I don't know.
What's his net worth? I mean, he has freedom, I think. If he got a back end on The Hangover.
Dude, he got a back end on everything. He's like, I think, known for foregoing a director's fee.
Super back end guy.
Yeah, for a high percentage of the back end. But that scene with De Niro was like, that was a great moment for me because, I know that De Niro's he's not going to remember me. I'm just one of those guys that he's met 100 guys that do 2 lines with him, right?
You're forgettable, yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's painful, but we're chatting and whatever, But it's one scene where we do a walk and talk, and I'm supposed to be like, his producer.
Those are hard, by the way.
They are
kind of at home.
Yeah. It got cut out, but Todd's there, Bob's there, and it's like, you guys just want to go? You ready to do it? And I'm like, let's do one. So we do this walk and talk, and I'm like, guy. And he's like, yeah. And Phillips goes, cut. And I go back to my chair, and I see Robert go to his chair. And then I see Robert walk over to Todd and then walk back to his chair.
Excellent.
And then Todd walks over to me, and he goes, hey, you're coming in a little hot.
My God.
Just remember, Bob's your boss. I'm like, yeah. Okay, I got it. But you got to appreciate the fact that Bob handled it correctly on set. Yeah. He went and told the director, like, hey, I think he's, he's not really. Yeah.
He's in over his head. He's a limp.
Yeah. Will you tell him?
Tell Mr. Maron.
Yeah. I had a girl say it to my face. She said,
Bob.
It was just I did an old movie, and then I had to kiss a girl. I won't say who. Yeah. I had to kiss her, and I said, hey, beforehand, I don't know how, I've never done this on camera. Like, she goes, just kiss me like I'm your girlfriend. Just anything. I don't care. And I said, all right. So I just kiss her, not crazily. I just kiss her, but I touch her cheek and kiss her, and they go cut. And we're all like, okay. And the director comes up and she says, she's not even 1 foot away from my face. She goes, can you tell him not to touch my face?
Wow.
And him was me. She did the correct way. She told the director, but
right there.
I just made me think of that because I was like, I was horrified. I'm like, oh, because kissing someone is it's so scary, and you just
That's
don't.
That's interesting, though, right? That's interesting because she said, "Kiss me like you're my girl. You're like she's your girlfriend," but apparently the intimacy of the hand touch was not something she anticipated, or maybe she just has never had a boyfriend that she let touch her face.
Yes. And I wasn't like a super French-a-thon. I was just trying to like give her a little mega, just to you just kiss a little bit. It's nothing crazy. It's a cute little movie. Nobody gets hurt. And
you never know what's going to happen with those things,
So you kissed Bob De Niro. I can't remember.
I did. So but that was off camera. That was crazy.
You go, hey, I'm ad-libbing.
Yeah. I'm improvising. Can we improvise?
But were you scared? I did a quick scene in the old days with William Dafoe in my very, very old days in a part that Dana turned down. And during SNL, and Paul Schrader was the director, and I was almost sick from nerves because and Willem Dafoe, super cool, did one scene, same thing, he wouldn't remember in a million years, but of course your nerves just ramp up. It's De Niro, it's still, no matter what, it's De Niro.
Totally. I felt okay about it because I don't know, like, I think I'm getting better at acting, but the benefit, I talked to Willem Dafoe, not a great time. Not a great time.
Not a great time.
I don't know if
I had some toughies on here too. Some are toughies.
Yeah, I don't know if I said something to piss him off, but it was like, come on, dude. It's like, just roll with me something. For fuck's sake. I got to look at your face for an hour. Yeah. So
he's got a lot of character in his face.
He's a great character.
It's not a negative thing necessarily. Yeah. It's intense. But
necessarily,
it's an intense face to stare at for an hour. Yeah, sure.
But no, in terms of nerves, I think doing the podcast helped me a lot in humanizing these people because, after a certain number of celebrities you talk to, you're like, wow, they're just people, and some of them, aren't even that interesting. Yeah. So knowing that going in, it's true, and it's not a bad thing, but. I seem to qualify a lot of things. So that's not negative. I'm not.
No, it's negative. Positive.
The qualifier. Marc Maron is the qualifier.
Well, what happens when you go, hey Bob, if you ever want to buzz over to the Glendale, I want you to pop in and.
I'd like to talk to him, but he's one of those guys I can't get. There's certain directors
are hard chatter, to get. Though. That's not probably.
He's gotten more chatty. He's got
who
more.
Who are we talking about? I missed
De Niro.
Bob De Niro. Oh, but like in terms of nerves, I was more nervous when I just did an indie where I had to play the lead, and that was I was nervous about that because, I knew I had to carry the movie, but I'd learned a lot of lessons from a lot of actors, and I was pretty confident. And then I had to do a scene with Sharon Stone, and it was a life-changing, terrifying thing that was kind of amazing. And I was nervous to do a scene with her.
Yeah.
And
she's kind of intimidating.
She's a big star. That's a big
star. Dude. Yeah. Big star.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah. I think I got to save the story for when and if the movie ever comes out, because I told it and I don't want to necessarily spoil anything. But she did the movie because she likes me, and it's one scene, and it was great. And Lily Gladstone was in it. Alan Ruck, Michael McKean played my manager.
Love him.
Yeah, what's his name? Jason. Is it Jason? No, it's not Jason.
Sudeikis?
No, the kid from now I feel bad. Oh, he was so fucking funny.
Silver Spoons, Bateman?
No, the one who used to do the Apple commercials, was involved with Drew Barrymore, for Justin Long. Justin Long.
Oh, Justin Long. Yep.
Funny fucker, that guy.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So fucking funny. But I was nervous about that. But I just did the best I could. That's all you can do, right?
Does anybody call you after your podcast? And who has asked for the most to be taken out? Don't people go take this out, take that? Or do you say no?
No, I'm not in the business of sandbagging people. It's not our jam.
That's our business.
Well, that's good. I hope I gave you enough
to sandbag. You give us a little sand. Not enough for a bag.
But almost always, I would say always, it's only because they said something about somebody else that probably couldn't have even been taken in a negative way.
Sure.
It's never like them.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't have to say that about, we're kind of friends. And,
Yeah. It comes off funny. And then later they go, what if they get mad or whatever?
Yeah. And people do get mad. Everyone's talking too much. That's the problem with everyone having a fucking podcast. It's like, actors, are just coming out with like, well, 20 years ago, it's like, oh my God, we can't get out from under this thing. No one shuts up anymore.
I see ones now. It's like full sex life. People just have nowhere else to go. So now it's like, here's everything about my life. Here's about my plastic surgery. Here, follow me and my camera into my plastic surgery and my, kidney operation.
What are we doing? Yeah. Or people talking about, moments they had with people like 20 years ago not even that. Just like awkward moments. And it's like, why'd you even have to do that? What was the point?
But some people are like, it almost seems like they're making up horrible things because they're running out of content.
I know.
Like have a big announcement. And you're like, it happens to be your 100th episode.
Well, we know what would trend and get pickup,
I don't. I don't.
You never really know what they pick up. Sometimes you do an interview and there's nothing.
But if you have someone on and they're being very revealing and you know that you're getting a scoop, they have not talked about this, like Robin, it's going to trend. But they've been on 5 podcasts by the time they get to us.
Then right. Well, no, that's a problem. But with Robin, there was trending hadn't happened yet. So,
okay.
And it was quite a lot of hoops to jump through just to get him to do it. And, it just worked out because I was a comic and I'm also like have a dark side. And there was no one else there that we got this conversation. And thank God we did, because it seems to be the only one. Like he literally talked about depression, addiction, suicide at the end. Both him and Jonathan Winters did riffs on suicide at their end of the interviews. And Jonathan Winters, that was crazy. I went to Santa Barbara to talk to him.
How did he pass away? Was it old age?
Jonathan Winters, he passed away in character, which is weird. So it's not clear whether he really died.
He was actually Mauve Frickard. And they buried him in the dress, which I thought was inappropriate.
He's a guy that my dad used to tell me, now this is comedy. And he was funny. And then when Robin was like, oh, this guy, but I couldn't appreciate it growing up. I just thought he was funny. I didn't know how good, you could never really tell. I thought they were all those characters. Like
what Jonathan Winters did was very specific and very detailed. It was not just ad hoc.
He was out there, dude. He was like out there. Like I had a beautiful moment with him in his house. It was, and I always tell the story. I don't know if it really lands, so that's a good setup.
Yeah.
But
give us the unlandables.
Okay. Well, we're at his house.
I'm already in. I'm all in because it's Jonathan Winters and you're talking.
He's like, he's got this sort of weird, childlike, thing that, in his house, they had moved his bedroom because he was kind of hobbling around with a cane, and he wore a Union Army colonel's brimmed hat. But we were walking down this hallway. He wanted to show me what he said. I want to show you the planes, right? So what that ultimately was is that he has this four-poster bed in this bedroom, and hanging from the ceiling are all these model airplanes. All right. That's the destination we're heading towards. But we're walking down this hallway past just pictures from a career in show business. There's Jonathan Winters and every star you could imagine. And then he stops and he points to this old ass picture of this boy with a puppy. And he goes, "I miss that dog." And I was like, oh my gosh, like this whole life of entertainment. And that's what, the dog, he's a little kid. Yeah. Sweet, right? That's supposed to be sad, David.
That's kind of interesting. Danny, happy. I know someone who had dinner with at Danny Kaye's house.
Yeah.
And he was very quiet during the dinner, and they're letting everyone out. It's the same kind of thing. Hall of Fame wall, Danny Kaye pictures. And someone asked one question, then it was 2 hours, photo by photo. Here I am with Jack Benny. Here I am here. Here I am here.
They were.
Do you ever watch those? Have you watched any of those? Like not the Dean Martin roasts, but there's footage somewhere. I don't know where I found it with some streaming service of actual Friars Club roasts that were done.
Oh yeah, I
might have seen one.
It's always the same guys, and it's not a great day. As Henny Youngman's always there, and they literally have him on, and you can tell the reason they have him on is just because he doesn't roast anybody. He just does his horrible jokes. So they just have him on to bust his balls.
Yeah.
But what was so interesting about so many of those is just how horribly unfunny some of them are.
The one who always got me, and I'm curious about old timey. Here we go again. Was always as a kid was Don Rickles,
the best,
just the funniest. And dry, like weird, no joke. Like get at a cookie, put him in the corner. Pack him in ice. He doesn't know the show started. There's no real jokes. It's the rhythm. It's just,
or he stares at the camera, goes,
and the sense of mayhem that he doesn't know exactly where he's going.
Yeah, if you wrote it all down, you couldn't find a funny joke in there. Look at this. Did that suit come with 2 pairs of pants and a hockey puck? What does that mean?
Right.
It sounds like a joke, though.
Johnny, the show started. Okay, funniest fucking guy.
Ed's over there going, "Oh,
yeah, that's it." He was very funny. You give him a cookie. Yeah, the funniest line he used to live when he did those roasts, and there were some of the old Hollywood guys there, like Cary Grant or Jimmy Stewart. He would say, "Jimmy, I talked to the family. You're doing fine."
That's so funny.
I know. You just can't beat
Jimmy. Do you know where you are?
Yeah. Do you ever see that the Clint Eastwood roast? He said one of the funniest things and the most honest thing I ever heard. It was the best. It was one of those, AFI big, it wasn't a roast. It's a tribute.
Yeah.
So he gets up, he says, he opens with, I don't know why I'm here. I thought this was a tribute to Merv Griffin or whatever. But they'd had a whole evening at this point. And he says, what a wonderful evening. He says, Clint, your son played bass. We sat through that.
It's such a rip.
It's so good.
And everyone kind of laughs like,
they had to cut to the kid who, took it well in the moment, but probably, not great.
And like that everyone was drunk was funny. They were like, he goes, "Oh, I had a few drinks backstage."
He's so funny. When that older Rickles on Letterman with Denzel Washington, that's so funny.
What does he say? And look at the black guy over here.
Well, it was a little post that, but he just kept busting on Letterman, mumbling. He wouldn't let up on Letterman. Like Letterman opens with like, "You and Frank have been friends a long time, and both your wives are named Barbara, right?" And Rickles goes, "What are you, a detective? Listen to this guy."
Yeah.
I've seen that.
It's the best.
That's so awesome. Yeah, those old roasts, the Dean Martin, those are the coolest ones.
Those are good. Yeah, they're great because it was like everybody in Hollywood. It felt like Hollywood was like a nice little town full of these special people. And now they just let anyone in.
Have you been roasted on
any of these roasts?
Comedy Central, or would you do it if you haven't volunteered to be roasted?
I don't mind being roasted. I had one of the worst nights of my life on the dais of the Chevy Chase roast.
That's a famous one, right? Because that was one of the
you were
early
at that
ones.
one?
Yeah, I was one of the guys. And, all I can say, I could say more, but after that, I was in a room at that fucking Hilton in New York with my buddy Sam, almost on the verge of tears, thinking like, I can't do this. I can't do comedy anymore. I can't do it anymore. It was so fucking, I bombed so hard. And I'm not good at that.
So you roast Chevy. And I think back then I was thinking, wait, this is the first roast I'm seeing where not everyone is great friends with them. So it's a very odd vibe. Like,
I don't think they couldn't get people. Hitmen.
Yeah, we didn't know that back then. I mean, I just thought, I used to see Dean Martin and they go, hey, there's my buddy over here. And here comes Red Buttons.
Yeah.
But to go.
Hardly any SNL people there. And I had pretty good jokes, but by my nature, if I'm insulting somebody, I really mean it to it's hostile. And I don't have the
by my nature.
I don't have the distance necessary to make it funny, but I had good jokes, and thank God they sweetened the fuck out of it. But in the room, I tanked hard, and so did a lot of people.
How big a crowd? It's not a big crowd, is it?
No, it was like 2,000.
The pain on Chevy's face watching it.
He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be there.
Pain because. It's is this what they think of me? It's like me doing an impression of someone. If they get upset, it's like, is this how I'm coming across? It's the ultimate mental game. I mean, David, you did one, right? Got roasted?
I did one. I wouldn't get roasted because it's actually good money.
Never got roasted, but you were the MC.
I said I'd host one. I don't even know why. Yeah. Because all you have to do is be in the vicinity and you're fucked,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember that I found that out because I was watching one. And they go, speaking of anal warts, Andy Dick's here tonight. And then they put in the crowd and they put a spotlight. He goes, wait, me? I came to watch. What? I'm not even on the fucking dais. Like, I didn't know it's fair game. They're like, no, we know where you're sitting. We got a camera ready for you. And so
we got 20 guys writing jokes about everyone in this fucking room.
I got lucky because I was the host, so I was going to get it. But who came in at the last minute? We had a fallout. Ann Coulter. And so afterwards, Jeff Ross said, you had probably the most jokes that you were going to get hammered with that you weren't ready for. And at the last second, everyone shifted those to Ann Coulter. And I was like, oh, thank God. I only got some. They all sting. I hated them all. I'm not good at getting roasted. I'm like, it's like 1,000 stabs, Death
I kind of like it.
Cuts.
But Jesus, Ann Coulter, that's like giving the evening cancer.
Where were you?
There's our trender. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
She came up with her book and she was Teflon. She walked up with her book and just started plugging it. She didn't, in fairness, I don't think she knew what she was getting into. She thought it was like some sort of promotion. She brought her book up to the dais and everyone's basically saying, hey, fuck you. It was pretty rough. So
Teflon's a diplomatic word for her. I can think of it.
Yeah. But Jewel was there getting funny jokes by Jewel. Anyway, overall, it was a pretty fun roast. And we can talk about
I can take a shot. I don't mind getting hit. But I don't think I'm in the position in celebrity wise to ever get roasted as an evening. But I don't mind.
Here's a couple minutes roasting Mark Maron. No, I have a glass jaw. I can't. I was out there going, and then I wrote it down. I hate you now. I hate you now. I hate you now.
I don't read comments. David reads comments. Do you read comments about your podcast much? You're good with that, or you're kind of?
I don't like. I seem to be pretty disengaged from Twitter. I don't do the other ones that much. I'll look at Instagrams and occasionally I'll look at messages or on posts on Instagram. But I don't, and I do get emails sometimes. But I got out of that because they all, a troll that's worth his salt is going to really hit you where it hurts. So, And when you read them, the part of your brain that lives in the real world we live in goes like, well, that's just part of it. But the real you sort of like, Jesus Christ, is that fucking true? And then you got to process that. I don't have, I can't detach from it. They land, but not for that long.
Yeah, some land. I think I look to see if there's enough feedback, positive or negative. Sometimes you can try to have constructive criticism. If they say, you're always doing this, or you always do this, or I wish you would change it. And then you go, God, enough people said that. Something's up, I have. But if it's just random, I get a lot of snipers just randomly, almost 100% of the time, if I answer them or I DM them.
No, don't do that.
Say, we got a problem. They always go, oh my God, I'm your biggest fan. Or they're nicer.
That's right. That's right.
But
of
some
course.
might just come kill me. So it's really a dangerous game, to be honest.
Do you listen to your podcast?
No.
Have you ever? Yeah, because Conan told me a while back, never has heard an episode. So I took that advice because I would get too much in my head. In the times I hear it, I
don't listen to it.
I can't watch
my producer.
Special.
He gives you notes.
I can watch my own special. No, but my producer, since we're still audio and that's our game, he's very meticulous, very brilliant guy. But the weird thing about not listening to the podcast and only having memory of the conversation, that's fleeting. You can only remember certain things from conversation. So, so if I ever have a question about something I discuss with somebody, my producer has become like my active memory. Because he spends a few hours with it and he remembers everything. And he's like, well, you talked to so-and-so about that. I have no recollection. And so I really need him just to be, my functioning memory of these things.
Yeah.
I was just curious earlier today, like when we talk to guests and stuff, like for you as consuming art or like movies, or are you into that? I mean, movies or music or
totally.
Is Patton Oswalt? We started talking about movies, and he just
that's a long conversation. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, we don't have to go. I don't know what you're, but I remember. Yeah, it was The Killers from 1958.
Here we go.
Anyway, 2001: A Space. I'm try to guess your favorite movie. Okay, that would be tough. Or your top, or a movie that you've seen more than once. Or that
Bad
you
News
would watch.
Bears, yes, of course.
Here's a question: if you could only watch one movie tonight, would it be 2001 or Planet of the Apes original?
Those are my only two choices. Did you let Patton Oswalt get in your head?
I know that's left over. I didn't talk to the producer. I already asked that question.
Okay, you give us
two movies: 3 Days of the Condor or Alien.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, you kind of have to go with Alien on those two. I mean, 3 Days of the Condor is great, but I would imagine you'd probably get a little more if you really kind of savored Alien and didn't overwatch it. It could probably be still pretty jarring. Whereas 3 Days of the Condor, you're kind of like, all right, I know this is jarring.
Well, that's
is that Robert Redford and who? Go
Faye Dunaway, maybe. Was it Faye Dunaway?
Faye Dunaway.
Oh,
yeah. Condor, where are you, Condor?
In the Pocket. I didn't know what that movie's about, and I watched it honestly a year ago. I always heard about it.
Oh.
It's a weird name. I'm like, why would I go to this movie?
It's
too weird.
Fun, cool movie.
I like watching
Alien
movies.
Changed movies. Alien changed movies.
That was great. Yeah. I've been watching a lot of movies. I'll go to the theater to watch movies. Like I like going to the movies because I'm pretty close to the Americana, and I'll go see shit. And I watch the old movies. Like I just watched The Conversation again because I didn't really get it the first time.
I should watch that again. Gene Hackman, 1975.
Well, look at you with the fucking Google.
No, that's all here.
Okay. No, but I remember seeing it years ago, and I was like, this is slow because I didn't lock in. But Gene Hackman doing almost anything is kind of amazing. It's unbelievable.
I talk about him all the time.
You do?
That he's a freak.
He's always laughing in his movies.
Move.
Chewing gum.
So great.
Hoosiers, everything.
I did watch the Tom Cruise movie where he's the Firm.
The best.
The movie's great, and he's
great.
Fucking crazy. Yeah, if you haven't seen the movie The Firm, it's like a surefire great movie. Go ahead.
It's like a Sidney Pollack movie. I mean, people don't realize that there are these movies that these geniuses made. So that's a full-on, just because it's a Grisham book doesn't mean it's going to be hacky. I mean, Pollack did that movie. And the cast was crazy. What?
Crazy cast.
Doesn't mean it's going to be hacky.
Yeah, true. Well, what was the other one? I mean, Coppola directed The Rainmaker. And that's another one that's fucking
another
great.
John Grisham book.
Yep. Yeah, but that's like, it's Matt Damon, Danny DeVito, Mickey Rourke.
Yep. Oh, I thought that was McConaughey. That's not McConaughey.
No, that's another one. It was earlier. But the firm is great. Terry Keeney.
Yeah,
it's great. And Wilford Brimley. Wilford Brimley's the heavy.
Wilford Brimley, so good.
He's the heavy man. Hal Holbrook. Oh, it's great. Great.
Gary's old names are so good in
Gary
movies.
Busey, good.
Gary Busey's in it, and what's her name? The genius actress, Holly Hunter.
It's not Jean Triplehorn.
Oh, Holly Hunter.
Yeah. Jean Triplehorn. Yeah,
Triplehorn.
Is she in it?
The love interest.
Yeah,
and Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise.
Fucking Ed Harris is in it too. It's an insane cast. And Hackman.
And then
Hackman leading the charge.
Him trying to seduce his wife down in the Caribbean, and then and he knows she's conning him. I mean, he's effortless. It's just so fascinating to watch Gene Hackman.
No kidding, dude. But what else did I watch recently? I tend to watch lately. I've been I just want to watch the beginning of this to get a couple laughs, and then I'll be up till 2 a.m. watching the whole fucking movie. I watched The Other Guys the other night just because I wanted to watch the beginning to get a laugh from those two.
Will Ferrell.
Is that a car chase beginning?
It's so fun. Yeah, that thing with The Rock and what's his name?
Mark Wahlberg.
No, The Rock and what's the
Sam Jackson?
Sam Jackson jumping off the roof. That is hilarious. And the two of them together, when Wahlberg focuses, man, he's good at comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, he can do it, dude.
He's good in a lot. He does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
How's this movie with you and Theo Vaughn? What's that about?
Bus Boys is it's a beating. We're doing it right now. It's tough. It's hard to do because it's small budget indie, but it's super fun because
is it small budget indie?
Yeah. Well, it's just us. We put it together. We put money in, and we just said we just want to go try it, and then decide what to do with it. That's scary. Don't go pitch it. Don't go around.
He seems like he's got enough juice. I mean, if someone will see it, but I thought Bert had enough juice too to put his little movie over the top. But I don't think it got there. But I mean, people will watch it. People like Theo. They like you.
What comedies are just live streaming now?
We don't know. We might do it straight to video. Straight to consumer.
Straight to video. Yeah.
Straight to video. The 90s are calling.
We're going.
So old. That reminds me of one time I was like, this is in the last 5 years. I was at the Comedy Store, right? And out of the darkness, Steve Kravitz just emerges.
He's Steve Kravitz from San Francisco.
Kravitz. Yeah. He's still here, dude. I saw him the other night, and he's okay. He's okay.
Oh, good.
I don't think I know him.
He's funny.
Yeah, he was funny. But I just remember he was he's 70 something now, but it was just a few years ago. And he's like, I don't know how the business works anymore. Hey, where do I send my tape? And I'm like, maybe to 1985? Maybe you send the tape?
Maybe to the D'Annunzio brothers at the Funny Bone? Isn't that somebody?
Yeah,
they used to watch I used to send my tape to the Funny Bone, my 1/2-inch VHS, and they're like, they must have a pile of tapes. I'm like, it's been a whole day. Are they going to watch it or not? They don't give a fuck.
Oh my God. I remember there was a booking agency in Boston called Boston Comedy Company. Barry Katz used to run it out of the basement apartment in a building in Allston. And one of the women who would get tape submissions, and she was dating somebody we knew, we got hold of a couple of the tapes. And there's this one tape of a guy that's clearly in his basement or in his bedroom, and he's doing jokes, and he's got a friend dropping a phonograph needle onto a laughter track on a record.
Wow.
So he would do a joke, and you'd literally hear the needle drop.
Oh, funny.
And then pull back up again.
That's a good idea. That's like an Andy
analog
Kaufman
lo-fi world. Kind of something charming about that.
Well, Mark, before you let you go, I got to ask you about one movie, and then we'll ask Dana if he has any wrap-ups. But you've been very nice to talk. I see Mark at the Comedy Store now and then. We always have a little chat, a couple of laughs, and then we get our $48 and we get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And someone said today that to Leslie, you were very, very good, and they loved you in it, and they heard I was talking to you. So,
well, that's nice to hear. I definitely. I did the work on that one, because I don't know how, I always wanted to act, but and I know I'm okay at it, and I got better, but I still never. I'm still it's not necessarily an exciting job. I mean, there's a lot of waiting around, which makes me crazy.
For sure.
But like I was trying with that movie, I didn't want to do it. And the director kept bothering me because I was still kind of fucked up. It was during COVID, Lynn had passed away. And, the guy kept bothering me, and it's the role is like this kind of, slightly beaten up Texan guy. And I'm thinking like, there's like nine or 20 fucking cowboy character actors you could get to do this. Why me? And, finally he gets through, he gets me on the phone. He's like, well, I really liked the last season of Maron. I'm like, oh, so you do like me. All right, I'll try. And I told him, like, I don't know about the accent. He said, don't worry about the accent. And then I realized, like, dude, if you're going to do this, take a risk. No one's going to see this movie. It's like, it shoots in like 2 weeks on film out in the desert here. So I worked with a dialect coach. And this is funny. You'll probably get it, Dana. Yeah, you will too, I guess, because it's just a reference that no one fucking gets. But I'm talking to the dialect coach. And I'm like, how do I do a Texan accent? She's like, well, there really is no Texan accent specifically, but I think we'll do Lubbock. And I'm like, okay, Lubbock. So she sends me, the phonetics, and then she sends me some tapes of what I think are the Lubbock accent. And it's just like a few like behind the scenes Grammy interviews with Mac Davis. And I'm like, this is the only example Davis. Of Lubbock is Mac Davis.
Whenever I want you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love Mac Davis for sure.
Yeah. He's a funny actor too. But yeah, well, I appreciate someone saying that because I definitely put the work in and I was willing to fail with the accent, but I think I did all right. And the only reason I had confidence to do that was before I interviewed James Caan, I was watching early movies of his, and all these guys try accents and very few of them are any good at it. So I'm like, well, fuck it. If he's going to take the hit, I can take the hit,
Yeah.
The Australians are great at accents for some reason, and a lot of the Brits are, but the Americans, I don't know. No. Secondhand compliments are the best. Like when David hears someone say to him, "You were great in the movie," right? That's the best way to hear it because they're not saying
it's legit. She was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, by the way, you see Maron's special? It was fantastic.
Yeah,
it's
nice to hear.
Someone say that? Did somebody say that?
No, that's a ficticious scenario.
Well, you do specials, you do a podcast, and you're a damn good actor. You've got a series. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know any other. You're like a triple and an author.
Yeah, I do what I can. I do what I can at the level I do it at, and it's I'm glad I've had all the opportunity and I keep trying to get better. What can you do?
It's just how much joy can you get out of your incredible life?
Yeah.
That's really,
the joy thing, that's a whole other thing. That's another,
forget about that.
Less miserable.
Another podcast. And in terms of like talking about SNL, I didn't get it.
Oh,
okay. Thank you. For the people that waited till the end.
All right. Well, that's thanks, a perfect buddy. End to a podcast.
Okay, man.
Take care, man.
See you later, guys.
See you, bud. That was a blast. Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all this stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman. Dana, today we have Susan Morrison, a writer. We don't always have writers. We have SNL writers, but she's a writer magazine. Of SNL. Yeah.
Yes.
She wrote a big fat book about Lorne.
And it's the 50th anniversary of SNL. It's a good time to have it out.
Mm-hmm.
Lorne, the man who invented SNL.
Mm-hmm. And she covers a lot. She's telling things to you, listeners, that even we don't know.
You're going to hear something that's a little shocking, a little surprising. How's that for a tease? But if we do a deep dive, the man, the moment, Lorne Michaels, based on the book and what she learned by interviewing. I got interviewed. My quotes are probably silly.
I got interviewed. Yeah.
Everyone got interviewed. Everyone talked. And it's just sort of a comprehensive look at Lorne Michaels through his childhood, all the way through his travails, seasons that were rougher than others, and on and on. So it's a very interesting conversation.
Oh, yeah. And they got, Tina Fey and Steve Martin and John Mulaney. There's all these quotes up front, and everywhere you turn, who they're talking about. So Very in-depth. Took years to put this together.
Years to put it together.
And it was very interesting talk. We went on and on. So
yeah,
here she is, and you're going to learn a lot.
Who's in Morrison?
And I sort of forgot, I had forgotten until recently the wonderful accent thing that everybody says, the Eagles.
Oh, the Eagles. That's right.
Eagles.
So you claim to have a book.
I do. I actually can even show it to you.
It's coming out. Okay. I don't know when this airs, but it's February 18th. It's called
Yes, that's right.
Lorne, the man who invented SNL.
That's right. Invented Saturday Night Live. We decided that Lorne has monomial status, like Fidel or Madonna, one name does it, Lorne.
You can tell the rookies because Lorne is such a name that comes up millions of times on our podcast and in life, but the people that call him Lauren and they spell it Lauren, like the female name, is pretty interesting because they're an outsider and I don't listen to one thing they say.
It's like the people who say skits instead of sketches. It's an immediate disqualifier, right?
DQ.
Oh boy, don't even skits gets him going. It's kind of interesting to me. I'm just thinking out loud to myself, is that because of his hallowed place and his Mount Rushmore, thing that's been going on for the 50th, he had left for 5 years, did a lot of things, left SNL in 1980. None of them really landed. Comes back in 85, has a rough season, and then I meet him. So probably in this whole 50 years, would it be a Nate? I went to state school. His nader or something.
I think that's right. And Dana, I remember that when I interviewed you, you told me that when you showed up there, you thought you were probably going to be in the last cast of SNL. You thought it was on its way out. And it was kind of a Hail Mary pass.
Sure.
And, it's interesting because I met Lorne when he was perhaps at an even lower point. I
lower.
Worked for him. Well, I worked for him when he did the new show, which was his
new show.
Yeah, I remember.
Public, spectacular flop. And, I don't think people thought he was going to be coming back from that. And he also lost his own money in that show. It's strange it was such a flop because it was packed with talent. The writer's room was incredible. Jim Downey, Jack Handy, George Meyer.
Wow.
John Candy did amazing work on that show. It's worth looking up. Food Repairman.
No, I watched it. It was funny. It was just that besides In Living Color, which was a niche kind of prime time, and it was on Fox in the day, primetime sketch. I did one that didn't make it. Martin Short, you'd have to line them all up. That's your next book. Okay. Why was there a bazillion sketch shows in prime time in the 50s, 60s, and into the 70s? And then so many swing and a miss. I don't know if you have. I've never totally figured that out.
I have a theory.
Okay.
Lorne,
I'm going to press record.
He loved. Sure.
We've been recording. Don't worry.
I'm kidding.
Lorne loved variety TV. He grew up watching, Sid Caesar and Your Show of Shows and all that stuff. And when he went to LA in the 60s and 70s, he just bounced around from one cruddy variety show to the next. Perry Como, Burns and Schreiber, Phyllis
Burns and Schreiber. What about
Burns and Schreiber, where he met his wife?
Yeah, but the thing is, he liked the form. But he thought that it was like stuck in the 50s. The people writing those shows were guys who had written for radio. And his big idea was to take that format and bring it into the modern world. Movies were cool. You had Terrence Malick and Robert Altman. Music was cool. But television was like a really weird backwater. So he was the first person who said, let's make variety TV something that has something to do with what people in their 20s are like. Let's put drugs on
and with
screen.
In my age group, you remember that when George Carlin was on Ed Sullivan in a suit and tie and a short haircut.
And
then he was like a symbol of this change and one lane of it when he became the hippie, long hair and all that. So there was a whole, I don't even call it counterculture. Laugh-In maybe was the last water cooler sketch show that was so different, of course, than SNL. But yeah, it was in the ether. And then Lorne picked up the toys off the carpet and said, okay, we're going to play with these.
But the other thing that Lorne will say is that when he was pitching a show like SNL for years and nobody wanted it. And what happened is that they needed something in late night on on NBC to replace Carson's reruns. And Lorne had never thought of late night. But the thing, it ended up being what made the show work, because the way he put it, the network thought of late night as like a vacant lot on the edge of town. They weren't going to pay attention to what was going on there. They weren't going to meddle. He just got to do whatever the hell he felt like. And with no notes, no interference.
Right. And you can be a little dirty, like even TV shows on at 8 versus 9 when I was a sitcom, you can say a little more at 9 because kids are asleep. You can say way more at 10. And when you're way up there at 11:30, they don't worry so much about content as much.
Yeah, I think he thought they were probably not even watching.
Well, they didn't care.
It was anti-slick and late, so it right out of the bat. I'm just a little curious. Sorry, David, did you have something to say?
Not at all.
I like to interrupt him. Did you see the movie Saturday Night? And what was your reaction to it? I mean, obviously, it's trying to get a feeling rather than a linear story.
Yeah.
But how did you feel about that?
Well, I guess I had several simultaneous reactions. The journalist in me was watching with my head exploding because there were so many things that were fictionalized, or 5 years worth of events were kind of crammed into one night. But I did think that it captured some of, as you guys know, you've lived this, just some of the nail biting, knife edge chaos that I think gives the show continues to fuel the show. It's funny. I talked to some of the current people, the people at the show now, some of the writers and cast, and they were indignant about it. They said that it was sort of like watching somebody, screw up your song at a karaoke bar or something. They were feeling proprietary about it. What did you guys think?
Well, I went into it with kind eyes, because I knew it was an impossible thing to really capture. So we interviewed Jason, the director, and there were things that I really liked. In real time, that there probably wasn't a bulletin board on 8H with like 80 sketches on it right before air, or that Lorne Michaels was the update guy until right before air. So you have to kind of give into it and see, did it capture the essence? I wasn't there then. They weren't famous. Right. The show wasn't famous, because as it evolved, no one would go ice skating right before the show. And most of the show is disappointment, even in the best seasons and the best shows. Right. I'd say maybe if you can get 1 out of 5 great sketch, pretty good. Most of the time, I was just there for 10 weeks. Most of the time we all went, well, I guess that's it, and just walked off stage. So go ahead.
I found it enjoyable to watch. It kind of, it felt like the Poseidon Adventure or something. It was almost like an adventure flick.
Yeah.
I love that reference. I love
hysterical.
The reference. Yeah. There's got to be a morning after there. There has to be a party after the show.
Other people I know told me they had similar reaction to mine at the very end when it comes off and they do the Wolverine sketch and Chevy comes out and says, live from New York, it's Saturday night. I mean, I kind of teared up a little bit, because it made you realize how improbable the whole show was and how close it came to not happening. It could easily have not happened.
I did like little things I didn't know. Now, Dana, I was going to ask Jason about that Lorne one for update, because I did like the chaos. I did like it was almost obviously too chaotic, but definitely knowing no fame. It just shows people, it's like sort of, here's what it was if you don't know how it started. They weren't famous. No one thinks of Dan Aykroyd or Belushi as not famous, So you have to go back and say, hey, they all get a job. It's a cruddy place. They're just throwing shit together. And then there's Billy Crystal leaving. Those are cool moments where you go, oh my God, there's just so many things that happen where everything there was life-changing. You get me in the first sketch. Chevy's on update. Like this. He's a big, good-looking dude. I thought there was a lot of parts about it I really did like, and you're right when it all came together. Like, what are the bricks on the stage? I don't even know. Like, I don't know what part was real, what wasn't. Fictionalized.
That was real.
So that was real.
They were hammering those bricks in the day of the first show, and of course, the old timers on the crew looked at Eugene Lee, the designer, who brought in old oak doors and bricks. And they said, what the fuck are you doing? We just use cyclorama walls. And, the way it used to be in old variety shows where instead of a set, you'd have like, a window frame or a tree in a pot to suggest a park. But Lorne's idea was that you wanted this hard wall reality. And,
it looked counterculture, and I did love when was it J.K. Simmons he played Milton Berle, and he's doing a song and dance number, and that was a really interesting juxtaposition because the variety shows everything was shiny and clean, and 8H still looks the same. It's kind of beat up, and if you walk in there without an audience, you're like, it's kind of a shithole. Like,
everyone thinks it's tiny. People go, "This isn't where you." Because I went back to do Hunter Biden, and it was just again like when Dana going back, you go. Oh, so here's Tom and wardrobe. There's a lot of the same people, and it's obviously bigger and a little fancier in places. But you get out there, it's the same tiny stools. Even people I was with were like, "This isn't where the audience is. This is it. This is this is where every sketch is. This tiny room."
Yeah,
I know.
Wow, it is true. That's the fun of it.
Can I just unless you have something you need to say?
One thing I was just going to say we were talking about the improbability of it and how those people weren't famous. It's one of the things that was fascinating for me to learn is Lorne had trouble hiring people. Like, who wanted to be on this late night show with this weird Canadian guy no one had ever heard of. And, Chevy almost didn't come on because he was doing a play, like a dinner theater with Paul Lind.
Hey.
Paul Lind didn't take the job.
I like Broadway.
Yeah, and I love that Paul Lind stood in the way of another hire. Alan Swibel almost didn't come forward because he had been offered a job in primetime writing the questions for Paul Lind in the center square of Hollywood Squares.
I have a dirty joke about Paul Lind. You want to hear it?
Anything about Paul Lind,
we'll cut it out. I love it. Paul Lind walked into a party and he goes, "It smells like pussy in here." I think. Anyway, Dana, back to you. No, I will say.
I don't get the reference. I just thought he was a funny guy. I mean, I don't understand.
Paul Lind was a hero, by the way, with Hollywood Squares. Unreal. When I was a kid, I laughed everything that dude said.
Oh, he was always hilarious.
And not Bewitched.
Oh my God.
And Bewitched. Right. And wherever he was.
But the money was low
just
too.
Had a great kind of rhythm. Just naturally funny. I was just curious. So you knew Lorne during the news show. Is that when you met him?
Yeah, I was brought into the Brill Building in '83 by Tom Gamble and Pross, who I'd gone to college with, and I met Jim Downey for the first time. And Jim hired me.
Just 1 second. I can talk to you in a little bit. I'll just be right back. I'll be right back. No, I want to talk to you. I really do, but I gotta go. Sorry. Go ahead.
Stay right there. Yeah.
Stay right here.
So Jim, in a rare act of decisiveness, right, hired me that day.
A rare act of decisiveness. That's funny.
To be his assistant.
Okay.
I was 23.
Oh my gosh.
I was 23 years old. My job chiefly consisted of ordering shitloads of food from the Carnegie Deli. Yeah. I mean, if I didn't know what chicken in the pot was, then I
writers eat. They have to eat.
Huxleys.
Just feed their brains.
And, it was a great thing for me. I was really young. My mom had just died suddenly, and I was kind of at sea. And so I got to go to this place with all these funny people every day. And they were so kind to me, and think about it. I mean, and Christina McGinnis and Lorne and George Meyer and Jack Handy, Zweibel. It was fun. So I didn't have a lot of one-on-one time with Lorne, but it was a pretty small operation. And we were all just in the little, on the 9th floor of the Brill Building. So yeah, I mean, I knew him a little bit. And again, I didn't realize that what I was witnessing was this soul-crushing failure on his part.
How did he take that failure, if you could even remember, or all of you? Because I did a variety show that lasted 8 episodes and kind of blew up the network.
Yeah.
So did you get a full season? I don't know how long.
No, it wasn't. I think we did like 8 shows. And then, this is the thing that was really weird about it. Lorne had been used to working live, but the new show was taped on Thursday to air on Friday. So it brought out all of Lorne's, less genius impulses. I mean, people always say that, Lorne always says that the show doesn't go on because it's ready. It goes on because it's 11:30. And, he needs that deadline. He needs the deadline. And that's when he gets into his kind of superpower mode, the meeting between the dress rehearsal and air. But if you think about it, so the new show, we would be taping and he would yell cut, and then they'd start a sketch over. And sometimes these tapings would last for 5 hours. And,
because you get perfectionist and you can't stop fixing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I remember the audience trying to leave in droves and Tom Gamble coming out and going like, "You quitters."
Sure.
So they're watching the same sketch over and over again.
Well, it's like a sitcom. You're trying to get it right.
Yeah.
When you're on a movie and it's a big budget, that happens where you just do take after take. Someone's got to go, "Hey, are we any good? Like, can we just move on? Like, this is it. The best we can do."
And then they'd be up all night in the editing room, like splicing the takes together so that it leached all of the, the magic out of it. I mean, you guys know, because you've done it, the adrenaline of live really adds something. But imagine these comedy sketches pieced together. They had to add laugh tracks, right? So
it's all different.
I remember knowing that it wasn't going well. And then I guess Brandon Tartikoff said to Lorne after, I can't remember, maybe 8 shows, like, why don't you just not make the rest of them? And instead, and here's the novel idea, let's make best of the new show ours.
Best of?
So, after only 8 episodes, we're going to do best ofs?
Finished out.
By the way, I don't know what time we have. How did you end up writing this book? That's popped in my head.
I was only, that was my only time in television. I switched to journalism after that.
Yeah.
But I stayed friends with all those writers, and a lot of them, including Steve Martin and Jack, and have written for me at the New Yorker and other places I've worked. So I was always kind of in the, I would run into Lorne every 5 years and say hi. I think our daughters knew each other in school, but after the 40th anniversary, I was an empty nester. I had this crazy idea I was going to have a lot of time, and I just realized it really hit me how Lorne is like single-handedly responsible for what America thinks is funny, across so many generations. And I thought he'd be a great subject for a book. So I sold a book first. I did a proposal. There was a bidding war. I chose Random House. And then I went to see him in his office, and I said, because I know, you guys know Lorne, he likes to be out of the frame. He likes to be behind the curtain. He's not a very public facing guy. So I said, Lorne, I just signed a contract to write a book about you and the show. I don't need anything from you. I know your people and I'm kind of around. But if you wanted to talk to me and participate in it, it'll be a better and a richer book. And, your legacy deserves that. And at first he looked like he was going to have a heart attack, Wow. And he just was like, ah.
Yeah.
And then, he said he'd think about it. And we had a drink a couple of days later, and he just started telling those stories. He just started talking. And so he was in. We didn't have any kind of agreement. He liked the fact that it was my book. It's not a vanity project that he had any approval over or anything. But he's smart enough to know that that's better, to have like a real work of journalism about you and not some silly, sort of puff book.
He had always told me I would never write a book because I couldn't tell the truth. So in terms of like you're writing this
better.
And like, what do I include? You, Susan, what What do I not include? Is this unflattering to Lorne, who I have affection for, and I think he's seminal. So when he was sharing with you, it was stories that you felt were benign. I mean, the book's coming out. Did he bury people? What did he say about me? Sorry.
Oh, Dana, what he said about you is it's a fucking show pony. I mean, you, both of you are really,
he knows me?
Really up there in his pantheon. No, I think that I think one of his reservations in the beginning, and this is very smart of him, he knows that people have very selective memory. I don't know that he read deeply in those, like the Oral History by Tom Shales and Jim Miller, but he certainly knew that over the years, people had put out versions of things that were wildly exaggerated, and he also knew that comedians like to kind of embellish a story to make it funnier, right? That's a human thing. So I think he was a little worried about that, but I asked him lots of questions. He told me lots of stories. I'd say in the final 2 years of the reporting, what I was doing was I'd go over there on a Friday night and I'd say, okay, now what we're going to do is try to do some like fact checking, because a lot of times I'd have 3 or 4 different versions of an event.
Ooh, yeah.
And I wanted him to try to be a tiebreaker. Like, what do you think actually happened here? And, he was very honest. A lot of times he just said, God, I don't know. It was the 70s,
Yeah.
But again, because I, work at the New Yorker and where fact checking and accuracy are important, I worked really hard to try to get
to the bottom of things.
And there were definitely things, and I brought all these things to him. There were definitely things that maybe stung a little bit, or that he would have preferred not be in the book, but he never said like, oh God, don't put that in the book. He understood that. Yeah. And I really respect the hell out of him for that. I mean, he knew I was going to write a real book, but the response among, his world and his publicists and the people around him has been really positive. People think that I've really got him. But, I mean, going into something like this with a character as mysterious and feared as Lorne is, I always knew that there would be a contingent of people who said like, oh God, this is just a blowjob. And then there would be other people who would say, this is a hatchet job. I mean, right? So I think, I mean, I'm in awe of Lorne, and I really admire him, and I admire and like him even more at the end of this process than I did at the beginning. I think what he's done is incredible. But you guys work there when people would be bitching about this or that, or, it's a tough place, right?
Did you talk to any cast that said anything that, or any personalities just very different than what you thought once you get them on the phone?
Let's see.
Or is everyone kind of...
That's such a good question.
Did you hang up with someone and go, wow, they were very...
One person who blew my mind was Dan Aykroyd, because he talks in these sentences. Have you guys ever talked to him?
We did a live podcast with him at David's house.
You know what I mean? Like, he talks in perfect paragraphs. And I just would never have thought that he's somebody who... And he's so thoughtful and uses such interesting words. Let's see. Who else?
They didn't know what to do with the lumber back in Canada in 1954.
He has a lot of facts, especially Canada.
The steel manufacturers
very
didn't care for the
interesting.
lumber at all. Yeah, he is like this, and he made it one of his comedy rhythms. He did it as Coneheads. He did
Coneheads has a lot of that talk in it.
Long, free consciousness kind of speeches. So it's part of his.
Well, it makes
comedy.
you realize that, Beldar Conehead and Dan Aykroyd are very similar, aren't they?
Close. Parental units. I told someone, are you with your parental units tonight? And then I said, after I've said this a million times, I go, that's from Coneheads? They're like, what is that term? I go, I think so. Isn't it? Remember, he goes parental units, and
sure.
And no one knew that. I go, oh, that's so funny. It just gets in the ether, and people. You had some good quotes here from a lot of the stars. I think some are funny, some are just straight ahead, interesting. And I like Steve Martin says, Dave Letterman is genuinely self-deprecating. He genuinely doesn't think he's any good. those issues don't come up for Lorne. So
yeah.
And also,
no, I mean,
go ahead. Oh, Jane Curtin saying he spent a lot of time talking about where he's going to eat. Is that very
or
true?
So
or so tonight
at 9:00. Chevy will be there. Chevy Chase? No. Chevy Wilson.
One of the Pauls.
right.
You'll find with Susan, she's that thing of like, she wants to please, and yet she has an eagle eye. And she sees what others don't.
Bill Hader's is funny too.
Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Bill has a great Lorne. You have different, you just a very
He says, Dana, if you start drowning, he's not like, hey, here's a life jacket. He's like, ooh, that guy's drowning in my pool. Let's go here and let's go hang with Alec Baldwin.
Well, it is
funny.
One of the things that is so interesting about Lorne is that even though people would, early in the show, as the show started getting successful and Lorne started getting richer with fancier friends, people would bitch and moan about that. Belushi referred to Lorne's fancy friends as the dead, all those socialites and everything. But I think that it was kind of interesting the way Lorne managed to parlay that into kind of a comic character on the show, like the Lorne that you see in the Smigel's TV Funhouse. Get me back my show. And
come back with more show.
He kind of, I feel like he almost, the Lorne Pasha, like producer character, became a character on the show as much as like Church Lady did,
the aloof producer that just stands there with a beer or something or a glass of wine. Yeah.
And I remember, I hope we hear more of your Lorne, Dana, today, but I remember asking Alec Baldwin at one point, who do you think does the best Lorne impersonation? And Alec just said, Lorne.
All right. Telling. Right. It's that thing of like, I never met anyone who talked like that, but I do believe that's what I'm kind of curious about. And so you went on this journey, and it's not so much just like what makes Lorne tick, but it's sort of like, where's the marshmallow inside this veneer, because I think he wants to be one of the guys, and I think he is very observant and wonders what people are thinking of him, and gets easily wounded in a way, but he's also so resilient. I mean, he's Trumpian in just that way, to which we probably talked about, just keeping the show consistent. Now 50 years, we have data now, a fucking half century. Where did this guy come from? Who is he? Will that be answered when I buy the book?
I think you're going to get your $38 worth. But no, everyone I talk to about Lorne, it's the same. They're all kind of trying to unriddle him. Conan says everybody thinks that Lorne has the secret. Part of that is that he isn't unlike a lot of guys who got rich and famous in the 80s, like Barry Diller or Michael Milken or people like that. Yeah. He's never been like a show-off workaholic. He's not one of those people who says, I get up at 4 a.m. and work out with a trainer. And then he does seem to know how to live. He kind of invented work-life balance, but then in terms of, you say the marshmallow inside, I don't want to be too psychobabbly or, too much of an easy answer, but
go ahead.
A lot really does take you back to Lorne suddenly losing his father when he's 14 years old. He was completely at sea, and his father collapsed one night after having a big argument with Lorne. They had a big fight. Father collapses, disappears into the hospital. Lorne never sees him again. This gives you some indication of why, you never see Lorne having a yelling match with anybody. He keeps it very low. I think at one point I say in the book that he speaks in the register of a man announcing a golf tournament, but I think that his whole world got smashed when he was 14. Then he had a bad year. His mother thought he was going to be a juvenile delinquent, to use the term
juvie,
popular in the juvie. And he had to kind of rebuild. He had to put it all together. I think it gave him a kind of resilience that helped him throughout his whole career. Just when I was starting the book, I interviewed Judd Apatow for the New Yorker Radio Hour, and he said something that really resonated with me. When Judd was 14, his parents had a really bad divorce, and I think there were financial problems. His whole world kind of fell apart. And he told me that he definitely, because of that, like that's why he kind of early in his life abandoned his dreams of being a performer and instead became a director and producer. Because, when you're that guy, you've got the clipboard, you got the call sheet, you're making sure that everything works. You're making sure that it's not going to be chaos. You're taking care of everything. As opposed to, if you're a performer, you're just kind of strutting your own stuff. And I thought that reminded me so much of Lorne, because he also was a performer early in his life.
Yeah,
but,
heart and heart.
He's determined to not let anything fall apart because his own world fell apart when he was 14. That'll be $350 for that. Okay, so.
I always thought it was people who started out in comedy and just saw that it wasn't going to happen for them, and then they became a writer or a director.
It's a more consistent job.
I did not realize when I was on Saturday Night Live that every single writer essentially wanted to be in front of the camera.
Right.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't know that until I started reporting this book. Like, think about all the people who were just writers. Mulaney, Odenkirk, those guys never got on stage.
Sure. Robert Smigel. They all want to be. Yeah. They all want to be. Trust me,
Conan.
I love that kind of Lorne. Well, do you think Mike will be here? He's visiting. It's not very far from the bleachers to where the cameras are. He has so many sayings. It's a little short walk.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
but when you do Lorne, you get to kind of inhabit Lorne, and I do think because the show is magnificent chaos. That's also part of his methodology. Is he'll be the calm. When people
was anybody angry?
Oh well, yeah. There's definitely some people who are angry. Because it's one of the things I would say that maybe Lorne's biggest achievement was just creating this kind of culture with walls around it. It's a tribe, and you're in it or you're out of it. It's like The Godfather kind of, and there are a handful of people.
No.
Who,
Lord of the Flies,
who, I think that's one of the reasons it was so painful for Conan when he lost the Tonight Show and went to TBS. He was kind of, he had spent his whole career at NBC, and and for a while he had a little bit of a frosty rupture with Lorne. I think he was off the T-shirt list. Stopped getting the Broadway video. You guys still get those Broadway video T-shirts?
I don't know if I still do.
I think so. Yeah, I do. Yeah, Lorne, he wants to be in the loop. He did not produce the Conan Tonight Show, right? For some reason.
That's right. He produced Late Night for Conan, and then when Conan went to L.A., NBC. It was kind of a drama. NBC told Conan and his producer Jeff Ross, "Oh, you don't need Lorne to be your EP." But I think that was a misstep. I think it probably would have been a good.
Yeah, I think in the end of the day, and there's been even current things that I won't mention with different people, is just shows that's important to Lorne, and maybe it's how he reacts to other people in his life. You show respect. You want to give Lorne the chance to say, "I think you should do it without me."
Right.
If you started with him and he gave you your break, then you do kind of have that feeling.
But it's a hard back and forth to say, Lorne, do you want to produce this movie? Because now you're putting him on the spot sometimes if he doesn't. But if you don't and it's a success, he's like, why wouldn't you bring that to me? It's very touchy because you don't want to go, I want a new favor.
Hard,
I want a favor from you. Also, this thing about networks is tough because also, let's say I did a show for a network, like I've done sitcoms, and they're always whining and dining you for a sitcom the whole run, and the second it's over, let's say you do a pilot or something, or they cancel your show, there's always part of you that thinks mistakenly, but this network, we were friends, like how could they do that? That's the weirdest thing that you realize. It's all just for the moment. Things are going good, everything's great, but don't get too chummy because you're just a card on a board where they say, we don't need that anymore. We're putting this here. They don't think like that. They don't go, oh, is someone's feelings going to get hurt? They're just like, this does better than that we got to put that there. It's very hard. It's very rare they go, hey, I mean, they might say it, but they're not just saying, hey, just because we're all buds, we should keep this on forever.
Yeah, I think that for Lorne, it's a relationship business, and he really does.
For that, yes.
One of his old Canadian friends told me that even from the very beginning, you could tell he likes rabbit's feet. He likes to have these familiar people around. Sure. And I think, one time he was kind of half joking, but he compared himself to, he said, I'm like Prometheus. I brought I'm the bringer of fire to these young people, the people he hires and whose life he changes. And he is aware that, he's very aware that you want to stay tight with the people who were there for you at the beginning.
Sure.
It's why he kept Bernie. I'm sure he was paying Bernie Brillstein 15%, up to the very end. When was the last thing Bernie did for Lorne?
Even when it went to 10%, he's probably still paying him 15%.
Whatever.
Yeah. By the way, Prometheus, for all the kids listening, is a rapper.
Lil Prometheus.
Yeah, Lil Prometheus. By the way, I have it off the grid here. The new show. Is it possible you would remember this? I think this is a dumb joke from the new show. A. Whitney Brown and Louis, were they both on it? Possibly.
I don't think they were. Weren't they?
But on camera.
No, they weren't on it.
They weren't on the new show?
No, they weren't.
No. Okay, because this joke is from something else. It could have been.
But weren't they on Dana's show?
Louis C.K. I hired as my head writer.
No, Louis Anderson.
A. Whitney Brown was not writing for it.
I remember a sketch with Louis Anderson and Whitney Brown. But what
Louis
could have
Anderson
that been
and Whitney Brown?
It could have been on a bad episode of SNL.
On a figment of my imagination.
Might have been in the 85 season. I think that's when A. Whitney got hired.
Here's the joke.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh. They're in it's like a just quick cutaway like on Laughing. They walk out in Roman togas. One's ripped and one isn't. And Whitney goes, Whitney goes to Louis that's ripped and says, Euripides? And he goes, Eumenides? And that was it.
That's right out of Ed Sullivan.
Isn't that a weird...
That's Topo Gigio right there.
I mean, Topo those Gigio, I'm pretty sure I'm lying, but why would I even think of this when you were talking about the new show?
But that reminds me of when Lorne directed his show in college, UC Follies, which was very much like a proto SNL thing. Mm-hmm. There was a Shakespeare parody in it that Lorne wrote. This is actually one of the first funny joke that Lorne Michaels wrote to my mind. There was a character in it named Handenbra. Get it?
Okay, got
it. Instead of Fortinbras.
Yeah.
Handenbra. You get it? Get it?
I like it.
I got it.
It's pretty good.
I like a good
That's
pun.
it.
That's the beginning, middle, end.
Handenbra.
It's very economical.
It was the 50s, people.
I love it.
Listen, the 50s.
Listen, I laughed harder at Hee Haw. I don't know what, I don't know any reference. I laughed at Donnie and Marie.
What Bernie Brillstein told me. They take your Hee Haw money in London. Because he was producing Hee Haw. Right. You didn't like, I don't like fake art. He just thought the art scene was ridiculous.
It's funny when people say, like, Belushi only made $400 a week on SNL and he made $10,000 for Animal House, which is not bad money, especially when you're an unknown. They forget that they weren't a huge star on the cover of Time magazine. Did Belushi get on the cover of Time? I heard Chevy did. Did Belushi?
Belushi was on Newsweek.
Oh, Newsweek.
Chevy for Animal House, and Chevy was on New York Magazine at the end of season 1. They called him the heir apparent to Johnny Carson. And that's basically what started all kinds of splintering in that first cast. Because, the idea wasn't for one person to emerge as a star. That kind of screwed everything up,
Immediate problems. That's always been there since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were talking about asking about the new show. I just remembered one funny little conflict that happened there. I remember Gamble and Pross wrote a sketch called Time Truck. It was a time traveling truck. And it was for a show Kevin Kline was hosting. And the idea was Kevin Kline was supposed to play Abe Lincoln. And they were supposed to go back in time to prevent Lincoln from getting shot. But Lorne thought that it would be much funnier to have his close personal friend, Paul Simon, play Lincoln, just as a sight gag.
Right.
The writers are like, Paul Simon is not a comic actor.
Yeah. And he's very quiet.
It was Paul. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Frustration.
Reason number 800 why the new show didn't fly off the shelves.
Did we talk about obviously you mentioned Lorne hacked life. That's the new phrase. Like you go to Buttermilk and you ski at, and then you're in St. Bart's and you go to Wimbledon, and Paul and I would often go out and just buy socks. You go downtown. And he did pace himself. That's part of the half century is he does pace himself. Yeah. He knows when it's important for him to lock in. And that's especially this Saturday, that 30 minutes is where everything's made. And the whole show is based on ADD and procrastination. So at Lorne's core, does he have both those elements? Because I do.
Yeah. Well, Jim Downey had a really smart way of describing this. He said, Lorne is a guy bad at term papers, great at tests. So if you give him an open-ended thing that he has to sit down and fiddle with, he's just never going to finish it. But when there's a deadline, when there's an alarm bell that goes off, that's, I think someone said the deadline is Lorne's cocaine. It's the thing that gets him galvanized. And can you imagine if that show was taped? You would never have that moment, at 10:30 where he's saying, But I think that he definitely has said to me a bunch of different times that he was always his whole life reluctant to burn a bridge or to close a door. He always felt like, if I do this, then I won't ever be able to do this. I mean, he also told me a story, this kind of related. He told me it's a real memory of once his father taking him to a diner when he was a little boy and saying, just order anything you want off the menu. So he ordered a hot dog and a hamburger and a grilled cheese and onion rings and French fries and, couldn't eat it all. And then his father said, let this be a lesson to you. Your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Now, I don't know how Lorne converted that into a lesson about comedy, but he did. And I think that if you think about that plate full of junk food at the diner, it's not unlike what the show is like Saturday going into, they still have way more than they can use.
Sure.
And it's chopping it down.
And you don't need everything. You don't need everything you think you need in life also is a bigger way. It's true.
Right.
Yeah, I want to go to lunch with Hawaii. His dad. Yeah. I need to learn things. That's a good one. Buy me a hot dog.
We both have dad stuff. I mean, do all comedians have mom or dad stuff?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I thought it was, a lot of people talk about these different rules Lorne has about comedy, these Lorneisms. And I think all the comedy ones are interesting, but it was also really interesting for me to hear how many of them were just about like how to live your life. So many people talked about how Lorne would say, buy yourself an apartment that you think you can't afford. Because, then you'll come home after a hard day at work and you'll go, wow, who lives here? And you'll go, wow, I live here, And
he told me that. He said, it matters where you live. So if you're torn, get the nicer one.
He does his Lorne, and a lot of it is just good old fashioned wisdom.
Yeah.
Well crafted. Did we talk about the one that sort of took me by surprise, about this generation or whatever, snowflakes or anxiety or whatever? We were raised in the wilderness and we got like civilized. They're raised civilized, and then we want them to go out into the wilderness, which is sort of brilliant. I said that at Howard Stern and go, what does that mean? I go, Howard. But,
no, he said that to me too. And I totally get it.
I like
it.
Yeah.
But, it was also, I spent so much time hanging out there that it was really interesting for me to see he's so patient kind of with the millennials and some of the snowflakey, sensibilities. But one day he said something that really cracked me up. This is in the book. we were walking in the theater district, and we walked past the Mean Girls marquee, and he had just got tickets for his friend Margaret Trudeau to go, but he was really mad because one of the leads had called in sick because she had to take her dog to the vet. The dog had eaten glue or something, and he just said, "If it was Patty LuPone, the dog would be dead." He just couldn't believe, that this person's pet was.
I think in the new days, there's just options you didn't have. Like, you can just not do things anymore. In the old days, it's like, no, you go, no matter what. You go work, you go to school, you do this. And now it's like, if you feel like it, unless you want to call in a day you're not mentally feeling like it, it's like, or you have anxiety. If I had the word anxiety back then, I would have used it all day.
I think Lorne has a classic characteristic of somebody who is has power in a meeting, and that is if things are going around the room, and then Lorne will sort of sum up something or say something that's not exactly on topic but related to the topic in very few words, and it's like, I just think I don't know, this is a hackneyed one, but it just needs to breathe or whatever. Make sure that the audience knows you're actually performing, sort of, don't just do it to each other. So that's kind of one of his superpowers. And that's really important with the suits and Universal and stuff. I was at parties with the suits and Lorne.
Yeah.
And he doesn't talk a lot, but when he does, it's usually pretty hard or it's interesting.
Yeah, no, he has a lot of things like that can kind of close off discussion. Like he'll say, "It'll get there," or he'll say, "It knows what it is,"
stuff like that. Yeah,
really good things.
Yeah, all I'm saying, he never really says, "Do this." All I'm saying is like, do we really have to go there with that right now?
I thought it was also interesting that even though, in that meeting between Dress and Air, he really is like a general, and that's the time at which he famously yelled at Bob Odenkirk once, "Odenkirk, if you talk again, I'll break your fucking legs," But mostly
that's when he's most confrontational because there's no time left.
It's no time for any fun bullshit. It's like, go, go, go.
Right. But even though he is, that is his moment, he rarely forces somebody to change something. I mean, writers are always telling me,
that's true.
Yes, he'll give you the note. He'll say maybe this, maybe that, but he isn't going to say you have to change the ending. He lets it belong to the writers, which is so unusual.
Some of mine got dirty, and he would say, to interrupt you, he would say, "I don't know if you need that."
Yeah. Yeah.
Put it if you want, but I don't know if you need it. And that's a good way of saying, "Oh, you feel like it's a little dirty? It's kind of smart the way it is. I don't know if you need that." And you go, "Yeah, okay." Like, okay, well, if you say it, I'm obviously younger and just new on the show. I think I would take your gut feeling over mine.
I know, because I said to Lorne just in the fall when I was there, I said, "You're like an AI. Like you have downloaded the show in your brain."
That's a good
So
way.
Lorne's blink is the best blink because he can't even. He's going back to Danny did that in my early days. Like it's similar to a Chevy idea. It's like so he. Right. That's why his blink is really good. He kind of knows he can't even totally describe what's wrong in a way, but his spider sense, because he's downloaded the show.
But he might say, as David was just saying, he might say, "Well, do you think it's working?"
Stuff like that.
That's how he would do it. Do you think it's working? But Dana, this is reminding me, what David just said is the story you told me about the time he thought Church Lady got too dirty with the football players.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was really kind of right. It was just, it was Joe Montana and Walter Payton, and I'm doing a church chat. And so it was just became vaudevillian sexual innuendo. So like we're playing football, squeeze between your legs and let me, it was just a lot of that.
Bulbous
and Lorne was like, does it really? It was like a little, and he didn't want Church Lady for a while.
People like the Church Lady.
I think she needs a name, and stuff like that. And he didn't really like the Superior Dance. He wanted to be more grounded in reality. But like he never told me yay or nay. But the Joe Montana one, because maybe it was lowbrow or something. It was later in the show, but it killed so hard that the old timer sound man said, "I've been here for 20 years. I've never seen the needles go that high." So anyway.
That superior dance thing. I mean, I didn't know he didn't like that because, boy, I think that's so funny. But
I think he wasn't a fan of it, but maybe he probably accepted it as the character grew, got bigger.
Yes, she became a signature.
Yeah,
because I know Conan told me that, or maybe Lorne told me. Maybe they both told me. Rare instance of everybody agreeing that Lorne was always telling Conan to get rid of that string dance thing that he did, where he would touch his nipples and go,
yeah.
Lorne hated that, but Conan stuck with it and it worked. There are people, people, I guess.
Well, that is the thing about catchphrases and or repetitive physical things or signature. Johnny Carson does the golf swing. I don't know if there's something homey to your brain, Conan's doing that again. We all do it.
Right. Well, Mark McKinney told me that at the initial read through of the Kids in the Hall series, the one thing that Lorne just didn't understand was the "I'm crushing your head" guy.
Oh.
And that when Mark, and that sketch is
the camera's set up so it looks like you're everyone plays that game as a little kid in some way. When Mark
first read it, Lorne said "Oh, so it's a funny voice thing." But he didn't.
It wasn't.
Dana, you could say that better than me. But then when he saw it, when he saw that it was a visual, like that,
right?
Then he got it and he liked it. So again, you really have to have a sense of yourself, I guess, right? Because a more of a Fading Violet kind of performer would have just said, "Okay, we'll cut that sketch."
Sure.
Right, and Lorne is. He's open to, if it works, it works. I mean, he just loves a laugh. So if that makes him so high, and you see how he still just suffers. If the show's going a little flat, you see it in his body language, his attitude. If the show is lifted, it just, from across the way, if your sketch destroys, it'd be like, and that's like a really good coach that never overpraises. But when he does, it means a hell of a lot. So that's
right. Yeah.
Aspect.
So many people told me about how they would come off stage and just feeling like they really killed. And, then in the Monday meeting, he wouldn't talk about that, but he would say, Nora, you were breathtaking as the fourth waitress, that kind of thing.
Yes. I thought Jan's exit was breathtaking.
Exit. Well, Susan, Dana, anything else for this young lady who's writing a great book?
So now your book is emerging.
Yeah.
Within this gigantic SNL 50th.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, extravaganza. And I can't keep track of all the documentaries. People, I don't, were you in that one?
The cowbell one is great. We got to watch that.
It's a whole
I just went to a
documentary.
little house they rented for me and said, "Will you talk about cowbell?" I go, "Okay." So I'm doing it. And then they were talking about Lorne.
You're great in it, Dana. Yeah.
I don't even remember what I said, but it's such an extravaganza. And then your book's coming out. I guess that's a good thing rather than if the book had come out during just a regular year.
Yeah.
Well, it took me so long to write it that
only 10 years.
This wasn't part of the plan. Yeah.
I love that it
come out 5 years
fell
ago.
into right now is good.
It really worked. And I'd say, it definitely works. And especially because so much of the hoopla, so much of the other stuff, it's like snippets of sketches. But my hope is that, people really don't know that much about Lorne. The comedy cognoscenti know that he's Obi-Wan Kenobi and everything else. But I think that the greater world doesn't know how complicated and fascinating and strange and brilliant he is. And I hope, as you were saying, Dana, I hope I'm kind of able to explain that a little bit. So
Sure.
The one thing people ask me today about the show that I don't have an answer for, just a basic answer, I guess, but how numerologically the cast has started to expand and then become an expansionist cast. So like 20 cast members. So people will ask me, why do they have all those cast members? And I go, well, I guess a safety net, or did he ever talk about that?
I think that's a really good question because I know there was a time in the 90s when he was trying to do the changeover, like between the, Hartman cast to the Sandler cast, he was hiring a lot of people. I thought it was maybe just to ease the, create a buffer. And then there was like some big budget cutback and he had to get rid of a bunch of them. But yeah, I don't know the answer to that unless, and I'm speculating here, unless it's in a diversity effort, to just try to get a more diverse cast. But I don't think it serves the show because I think that there's so many people. You're kind of, who's that
you
one?
Don't know,
I don't remember
for
that
sure.
one.
You don't know for sure. It's too hard.
It's very hard. I talked to some of the young cast members because if you're not in it a lot and then you get in there and then you maybe flub a line or don't totally score, then you go back again. Where I think I was part of the last small cast. And then when David and Sandler and Farley all, we got some really great people to add to us and some left. But me and Phil and John, I think, were just the three major male sketch players. So I was in 4 things the first show or 5 things. And I have a lot of empathy for the cast members that they're in the dugout. They're on the bench. They're not playing.
You quit or do you stay and you go, I quit SNL. I didn't get anything out of it. Like, it's so hard to just sit there and rot going, am I going to ever score? It really takes one good sketch. Then you're on the map.
What was yours, David? What was the thing that made you feel
it took a long time. I think it was one where I played a receptionist was the first time I got any sort of.
And you had a catchphrase.
Did it it was in Dress, the last sketch, in The Air, it was the first sketch. And so
that's a
that
good
was Roseanne.
And You Are was the catchphrase.
And You Are is so good. Yeah.
Just a dry bit based on kind of Lorne. Going to see
and the assistants,
and all that.
The thing about the huge cast that's even harder now, Dana, and when I was hanging around there a few years back, the cast they would let you know. I mean, of course, it's thrilling for them when geniuses like you and Alec and everybody come in to play these cameos. But during the first Trump administration, so many. You have all these stars coming in, and that also squeezes
Matt Damon and so forth. All great people doing great parts.
If you were in the cast, you might be pissed.
Of course.
Well, I did ask, and I was sincere about it when they asked me to do Biden. I said, "Does Mikey still want to do it? Does anybody want to do it?" And and they said no, because Biden was sort of a thankless task. It was a difficult one, and there was the whole energy around should you make fun of his mental acuity or not, and threading that needle. So I was totally aware of that. And they're all incredibly sweet. They seem sweeter than we were, but they're very nice people. But we had Dan Aykroyd come in and do Bob Dole. That was it once.
Yeah.
And then it was all us playing it. So I don't know. I mean, Lorne has his thing. I don't think he likes when people leave. I think when Belushi and Aykroyd left, it kind of left him flat-footed. And so he likes I get it. He likes a bench that can come in and, so 50 years. Now, a final question.
Okay.
How much longer, since you've been inside this Lorne brain, will he go?
Well, I firmly believe, I don't think he's going to just say, over and out. He's never missed a show. He's never missed a show.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to carry him out of there in a stretcher. But I don't think that any of I don't buy any of the replacement theories. I don't think Tina or Seth or I can't see any of them doing it. What I think is the likelier idea, and I hope this doesn't sound too McKinsey, but the way I see it, Lorne is completely essential 2 days of the week. He has to be there during read through because he really pays attention to the room.
Yeah.
And then he, picks the show after that with his deputy's help. And then Saturday, when he's sitting there under the bleachers.
Right. It's a good theory.
And so I think he has this great team of people who could do the other stuff. And if he came in, was wheeled in on Wednesday afternoon and on Friday and on Saturday evening.
Stretcher.
Well, there's an element. No. There's like a soft element of that now,
Yeah,
because I would want an answer, and they said, "Well,
sure.
We'll let you know when Lorne gets here. It's 4 o'clock." Lorne knows how to pace himself and when to lock in.
Yeah.
So he's doing a soft version of that.
Yeah, I think that's right. And And all those people, Doyle and Kenward and Higgins, they really know him, so they can give a pretty good approximation.
Yeah, when he'll come in, and what he might say. Yeah.
But, there's no one could do what he does under the bleachers. I mean, when I'm sitting there under the bleachers with him, and you guys, I'm sure you've done this, right? And the funniest one, I was there for the Jonah Hill show, and Maggie Rogers, who was then just starting out as a singer, she comes out on stage at Dress wearing this big red caftan and no shoes. And Lorne just goes, barefoot. Where's she from? A place with roads? He was so mad.
I know. Well, the funniest one is just that he watched the Dress show, and the Chardonnay should be more pale, stuff like that. It's like, but he notices things you're not even aware. But yeah, I think he's going to go a while.
He seems very, he's very with it and alert, and I've never seen him sick. He's taking good care of himself.
I don't hear that. I never. It doesn't look like, even I was there briefly, it doesn't seem like he's, barely getting to this 50th. It's like 50th, then they got the rest of the season after the big show, and then they start working on next season. I don't know
when this podcast airs, but I bet you Lorne, he's only human. I mean, he will be kind of a little bit relieved when this whole hoopla is over, because we can't, unless it was the mic drop, the show ends. He knows that pretty soon, we still have 10 more fucking shows to do.
Well, one thing he did tell me when the Reitman movie came out, that was sort of the beginning of, like his anonymity being blown in a way. I mean, he told me he didn't see it. I mean, who knows if he did.
I said I saw it for you, and you come off great. Yeah. I said you don't have to see it.
But he said, I just feel like I've lost control of my life. It's like as the 50th approach, I think he's really excited about the show, and he's excited about seeing everybody. He loves everybody, but he does feel, I mean, even to some extent with a book, it's just like he's kind of stepping out. The Reitman movie put him center stage. This book puts him center stage. It's a shift for him.
Right. In the end of the day, he is the linchpin. He's bigger than any cast member as far as the history of SNL. He is, sure.
Well, he is, as I think I quote some agent in the book saying that when she has clients going to audition for Lorne, she says, you got to remember, he is the star of the show. It's Lorne, which is interesting.
Interesting. But he loves funny people, and he
really does.
He does,
and he's funny. He's a funny person, which a lot of people
extremely
don't know.
Dry, droll wit. Yeah, that hits you pretty hard sometimes. Wow. Well, congratulations. It's hard to write a book, and I'm sure it's going to do really well. And what was your advance? How much did you got so far?
Hello, February 18th.
Thank you so much. This was really,
18th.
Really fun, you guys.
This flew by. It was easy. We love talking about our old boss.
Call back anytime, okay?
I can't wait to read my chapter. All right. Bye.
Thanks, Susan. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
This has been a presentation of Odyssey. Please follow, subscribe, leave a like, a review, all the stuff. Smash that button, whatever it is, wherever you get your podcasts. Fly on the Wall is executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Jenna Weiss-Berman of Odyssey, and Heather Santoro. The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman.